Night falls gently over the world, and above an infinite cosmic canopy unfurls. One by one, delicate points of starlight pierce the darkness until the sky is filled with a shimmering tapestry of lights. The air is still and cool. The land below sinks into shadow, as if holding its breath beneath the silent splendor overhead. Gazing up, you feel a hush of awe, a sensation that stretches back through countless generations before you. In the quiet of this moment, it is easy to imagine ancient people gathered under the same night sky. They might have stood on open plains, or nestled by a crackling fire, heads tilted back to marvel at the same celestial panorama we see now. Above them, as above us, arched the glowing river of the Milky Way, a pale band of light spilling across the heavens. To eyes unspoiled by modern lights, it would have glowed brilliantly, a gauzy highway of stars weaving through the darkness. Under this cosmic canopy, it felt natural to wonder, what are these lights? Who placed them in the sky? What secrets do they hold? The stars twinkle with a cold, ancient light, some sending forth steady beams, others winking subtly, as if sharing cosmic secrets in Morse code. These pinpricks of brilliance may seem eternal, yet each is a distant sun, and their light has travelled immense distances and ages to reach our eyes. Looking up, we are effectively peering into a deep well of time and space. It is a humbling and enchanting thought that the gentle glow from a star tonight may have begun its journey long before we were born, before cities rose, perhaps even before humanity took its first steps. High above, familiar patterns begin to emerge as your eyes adjust to the darkness. Constellations, some easily recognized, others more obscure, reveal themselves in the spangled sky. Perhaps you notice the broad sweep of the Big Dipper hanging low on the horizon, or the proud belt of Orion rising in the east. These starry arrangements have looked down on Earth for ages, silent companions to all of history's joys and sorrows. Under them, empires have been born and fallen, travellers have charted courses, and lovers have whispered hopes and promises. There is comfort in these constant patterns, in knowing that no matter how much time passes, Orion's belt will still point the way to Sirius, the dog star, shining faithfully each winter night. Now and then, a streak of light darts across the darkness, a shooting star tracing a fleeting arc. For an instant, it flares bright, then vanishes, leaving no trace but in memory. If you have ever seen one, perhaps you made a wish, following a tradition as old as memory itself. Meteors, as we call them, are tiny cosmic visitors burning up in our atmosphere. Yet to a sleepy eye, they can feel like gentle reminders of how alive the night sky is. In the stillness, the sudden dash of a shooting star is both startling and magical, a brief signal from the universe to remind us that change is always happening, even in the quietest hours of the night. All the while, the Milky Way looms overhead, a misty river of starlight. If you trace it from one horizon to the other, you might feel as though you could fall right up into it, drifting along that luminescent current. Under truly dark skies, its glow is so vivid, it can cast faint shadows on the ground. Many who have lain beneath its soft luminescence describe feeling a strange pull, as if the galaxy itself were drawing them into a dream. And perhaps it is, a collective dream of all those who came before us, who looked upward and spun stories from these stars, trying to find meaning in the grand design glittering above. Cradled by darkness, the earth below feels intimately connected to the sky above, The longer you lie beneath the cosmic canopy, the more stars you see, and the deeper your sense of wonder grows. Eyes that at first only caught a handful of bright stars now begin to discern hundreds, then thousands of fainter ones in between. Patience brings reward. The sky reveals itself gradually, like a slow opening flower. Out of the corner of your eye you catch a faint blur that isn't a star at all, but a neighbouring galaxy, hanging like a tiny island in this cosmic sea. It is the Andromeda Galaxy, a colossal collection of 1 trillion suns, yet to your naked eye it appears only as a delicate, smudged glow. To think, our own galaxy's sister, quietly shining from 2 million light-years away, is visible to the unaided eye on a clear night. Under the cosmic canopy, the boundaries of what is near and far blur into an endless continuum of lights. Time seems to slow under this vault of stars. The world's concerns shrink away. In the grand silence of night, you can almost hear your own heartbeat aligning with the timeless rhythm of the cosmos. The sky above appears serene and unchanging during a single evening, yet if you watch patiently, it moves. Stars in the east climb higher hour by hour, while those in the west sink toward the horizon and disappear, as if following the sun's path below. In truth, it is Earth that is turning, carrying us through a nightly pirouette beneath the stars. But from our vantage, it feels as though the heavens are rotating gently around us, an immense celestial dome turning ever so slowly. Perhaps you notice one bright star in the north, or south, depending on where you lie, that barely moves at all, while others slide by. For those in the northern world, that would be Polaris, the North Star, perched almost directly above Earth's axis. Since ancient times, this nearly fixed star has been a beacon in the night, a guiding light for travellers and sailors finding their way home. It stands as a reminder that even in the apparent chaos of countless stars, there is an order and reliability. For observers under southern skies, no single bright star marks the celestial pole, yet the Southern Cross constellation and its 2 nearby pointer stars serve as a cosmic signpost aiming toward the south, anchoring the heavens in their own way. Enveloped in darkness, you begin to sense why our ancestors imagined the sky as a great dome arching overhead, perhaps a solid firmament studded with glowing jewels. It surrounds us completely, creating a feeling of being inside a cosmic temple. The longer one gazes, the more connected one feels to that infinite expanse. The boundary between self and universe blurs. Worries dissipate into the vastness. It's as if the cosmos is reminding us that we are a part of this grand design, that our atoms were born in the hearts of stars, that in a real sense we too are the universe gazing back at itself. Under the cosmic canopy, imagination awakens. In the patterns of stars, pictures and stories begin to form, just as they did for those who first wove the tapestry of constellations. The sky becomes not just a backdrop, but a canvas for the mind. As you breathe slowly and deeply, you might feel on the verge of drifting into a dream, and in that drowsy state, the stars above can seem to transform. The cosmic canopy invites you to dream with eyes open, to step into the mysteries it holds. And so, lulled by starlight, we drift seamlessly from the realm of silent wonder into a realm of stories, legends written in starlight that generations before us told to explain the dazzling night above. For countless ages, People have looked to the stars and found stories shimmering there. The night sky became a vast picture book. Its constellations, the illustrations of myth and memory. Long before maps and science, the heavens were charted with heroes and monsters, gods and animals. A celestial tapestry where each culture embroidered its own tales in light. These are the legends written in starlight. In ancient Greece, a storyteller might point upward on a clear evening and trace the shape of a great hunter named Orion. There, 3 bright stars in a neat row form Orion's belt, and above them his shoulders, and below his knees. Greek mythology tells that Orion was a mighty hunter, proud, fearless, and so confident in his prowess that he once boasted no creature on earth could escape him. Such pride often invites a fall in myth. The tale goes that Gaia, the earth goddess, sent a small scorpion to challenge Orion's boast. In a twist of cosmic irony, the tiny scorpion managed to sting the giant hunter, and Orion fell. To honor them, Zeus placed both Orion and the scorpion in the sky as constellations. But he set them on opposite sides of the heavens so that the scorpion could never harm Orion again. And indeed, even now, when the stars of Scorpius rise in the summer sky, Orion's stars set below the horizon, as if the mighty hunter still retreats from the lowly scorpion. It is a story woven into the cycles of the night, giving poetic life to the changing seasons. Not far from Orion, another mythical tableau glitters. High in northern skies, you may find Queen Cassiopeia, marked by 5 stars in a zigzag that resembles a sprawling W or the outline of a throne. In Greek legend, Cassiopeia was a beautiful but vain queen who once bragged she was more lovely than the sea nymphs, angering Poseidon. As punishment, Poseidon sent a sea monster to ravage her kingdom. To appease the beast, Cassiopeia's daughter Andromeda was chained to a rock as a sacrifice, but the hero Perseus came to her rescue, slaying the monster. For her vanity and role in this drama, Cassiopeia was set among the stars, some say upside down on her throne, to remind mortals of the perils of pride. As the night hours pass and the constellation wheels around the pole, Cassiopeia's shape sometimes appears to flip upside down, as if the queen were tumbling from her throne, an eternal embarrassment set in the stars. Nearby shine the stars of Andromeda herself, and Perseus, and even the fearsome monster Cetus, lurking toward the horizon. A whole drama of redemption and bravery plays out each night in those constellations. When we look up at Cassiopeia's distinctive W shape, we are seeing not just random stars, but characters in an ancient story frozen in the sky. Across the world in the high Andes, under entirely different constellations, an Inca elder might have told a child a very different kind of star story. The Inca, like many indigenous peoples, had their own set of constellations, separate from the Greek ones we often learn today. To them, the same pattern of stars we call Orion was seen as something else entirely. They saw a celestial animal. In their eyes, Orion's belt and surrounding stars outlined a great llama in the sky. This llama, according to Andean law, was placed among the stars to watch over the herds and ensure a good harvest. The 3 stars of Orion's belt marked the llama's back, and the bright star, Rigel, became the llama's shining eye. Instead of a boasting hunter, the Inca saw a gentle guardian of crops and livestock. It's fascinating how the same cluster of stars can be a valiant hero to one culture and a protective llama to another, each reflecting the values and needs of those who named it. Many peoples saw familiar animals and objects in the stars. For countless Native American tribes, the big, bright pattern we know as the Big Dipper was seen as a great bear being pursued by hunters. Picture the bowl of the dipper as the body of the bear, and the 3 stars of the handle as 3 warriors trailing behind. In one Iroquois tradition, the bear eternally runs from the hunters. When the bear is low in the sky during autumn, it is said the hunters have wounded it, and its spilled blood turns the leaves red. Each year the cycle begins anew, a reminder of the turn of seasons and the harmony between sky and earth. Meanwhile, across the ocean, ancient Chinese sky watchers also gazed at those same 7 stars of the Big Dipper, but envisioned something entirely different. In Chinese astronomy, the Big Dipper is part of the Northern Bushel, or the 7 stars of the Northern Dipper, often seen as a celestial bureaucrat's measuring scoop, or as the chariot of the celestial emperor. In Taoist belief, these 7 stars were associated with divine rulers who influenced life and longevity. To them, this grouping of stars represented cosmic order and authority rather than a wild animal. Imagine that. The same stars, but to one culture, they are a beast pursued by hunters, to another, a tool of cosmic governance. One of the most beloved star legends around the world centers on a tiny cluster of stars known as the Pleiades. On a clear night away from city lights, you might notice this misty little patch of brightness that, when focused, resolves into 6 or 7 stars bunched close together. The ancient Greeks called them the 7 sisters, daughters of the Titan Atlas and the ocean nymph Pleione. The story goes that the hunter Orion, ever ardent, fell in love with the sisters and pursued them across the earth. To save them, Zeus transformed the sisters into doves and set them in the sky. Orion, undeterred, was also placed in the heavens, and to this day he chases the Pleiades across the night. If you look, you can find Orion trailing behind the Pleiades cluster on winter evenings, as if still in pursuit. The Greeks wondered why, though they spoke of 7 sisters, most people can only clearly see 6 stars. They explained it by saying one sister, Merope, hides her light out of shame because she married a mortal, unlike her immortal sisters. Other cultures too told of 7 siblings, but noted one was missing or hiding. The story of this lost Pleiad, the missing 7th star, appears in European folklore, in African stories, and in Aboriginal Australian legend as well. It seems wherever humans looked up and saw the Pleiades, they saw family there and sensed an absence that begged for a tale. To the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Pleiades were also sisters, often called the 7 Sisters, who feature in many dreaming stories across different language groups. In one common tale, the sisters are pursued relentlessly by a male hunter or spirit, often associated with the constellation of Orion, mirroring the Greek narrative in a striking way. Yet the details and meanings differ in beautiful cultural nuance. In some versions, the women escape by climbing into the sky to become stars, and the hunter follows, becoming Orion. Even as far apart as Greece and Australia, 2 cultures imagined a similar chase in those stars, women fleeing and a pursuer following eternally in the heavens. How remarkable that human eyes and minds, separated by oceans and millennia, found such a parallel pattern in the sky. The Pleiades have been more than just mythic sisters. They have also been seen as indicators of times to plant or harvest. In the Andes, the rising of the Pleiades signaled the arrival of the planting season. The clarity of the cluster was even thought to foretell the coming rains. The Quechua people call the Pleiades Colca, meaning storehouse, as it was associated with agricultural abundance. In Polynesia, the appearance of the Pleiades in the dawn sky marked the start of their new year, called Matariki by the Maori, a time of remembrance and preparation for the coming seasons. Thus, the stars not only carried stories, but practical guidance, legends woven with keen observation of nature's rhythms. Another tender story written in starlight comes from ancient China. Look up on a summer night and find the bright star Vega in the small constellation of Lyra and Altair, a bright star in Aquila. These two shine prominently on opposite sides of the Milky Way's band. Chinese legend calls them Jinu and Niulang, the weaver girl and the cowherd, lovers who were destined to be apart. Jinu was said to be a heavenly weaver maiden, a daughter of the celestial empress, and Niulang was a humble mortal cowherd. They fell deeply in love and married in secret, living happily for a short while. Angered by her daughter's union with a mortal, the celestial empress tore the lovers apart, creating a wide river of stars between them. The Milky Way, known in Chinese as the Silver River. Heartbroken Jinu became the star Vega on one side of the heavenly river, and longing Niulang became Altair on the other side, with their two children by his side as the faint stars flanking Altair. The lovers were condemned to gaze at each other from across the Milky Way, able to meet only on one night each year. On that single night each year, the 7th night of the 7th lunar month, sympathetic magpies form a bridge with their wings, allowing Jinu and Niulang to cross the starry river and reunite for just a few precious hours. This beautiful tale of love and separation is celebrated in the Qixi festival in China and in similar festivals across Asia, when people look to the summer sky and remember that even the mighty stars acknowledge the power of love. When you see Vega and Altair sparkling on either side of the Milky Way, you may recall the weaver and the cowherd and the celestial river that keeps them apart, except for that single summer reunion. It adds a touch of wistfulness to the night, a reminder that the sky holds not only our scientific curiosity, but our deepest feelings and dreams as well. Beyond these specific tales, every corner of the world has its own star lore. The ancient Egyptians envisioned the sky as the goddess Nut arching over the earth, her body adorned with stars. Each dusk she swallowed the sun, and each dawn she birthed it anew, a daily cosmic cycle of death and rebirth written across the heavens. The Norse spoke of glittering halls in the sky where fallen warriors went after death, and of the fiery glow of the northern lights as the dancing of those warrior spirits. The Navajo tell of the constellations being placed in the sky by Black God, who carefully arranged the stars in patterns that carry lessons and laws. In their tradition, the shimmering band of the Milky Way is the path by which the stars were carried and strewn across the firmament. Some peoples of southern Africa say that long ago a girl scattered the ashes of a campfire across the sky. The glowing embers formed the Milky Way, a luminous river to guide lost travellers. The Navajo, too, see the Milky Way as a kind of road, a path of pollen or ashes marking the way for souls or for the wanderers that place the stars. In Indian mythology, the 7 stars of the Big Dipper are revered as the Saptarishi, 7 sages, eternal wise men imparting cosmic knowledge from the celestial realm. For some peoples, star lore was also a practical tool. Polynesian navigators memorized the stars' paths across the Pacific skies to voyage between distant islands, finding their way by starlight. To them, constellations were a compass, the cosmos itself a map drawn in light. These legends written in starlight served many purposes. They were entertainment on long nights and moral lessons cloaked in metaphor. They were a way to encode knowledge about seasons, navigation, or timing into memorable tales. Even now, Millions of people still look to the zodiac constellations for guidance in astrology, reading horoscopes that trace their lineage back to star myths of Babylon and Greece. The shapes and meanings our ancestors saw in the sky continue to echo in our lives, from the names of our star signs to the heroic figures in our nighttime imaginations. We point out Orion or the Big Dipper to our children and share the stories, just as our ancestors did. There is something profoundly reassuring in this continuity. Under the eternal blanket of stars, we tell stories to answer the silence of the dark. The shapes and heroes in the sky make the vast unknown feel intimate and human. When you lie beneath the night sky and recall these stories, you become part of this grand human tradition. The stars cease to be distant, cold suns. They become sisters, hunters, bears, wise elders, loving couples, separated by fate. The night sky becomes a living gallery of human imagination, and as the stars wheel slowly overhead, it is as though all those ancient storytellers from every land are whispering their tales to anyone willing to listen. As the night deepens and our journey through these starry tales continues, our path now leads toward one of the great celestial legends of the southern skies. While most constellations are drawn by connecting stars, some cultures saw figures not in the stars themselves, but in the dark spaces between them. Before us lies a particularly enchanting example: the emu of the Milky Way, a creature outlined not by starlight, but by cosmic shadow, soaring across the austral night. With our minds already drifting among the myths of the sky, let us gently follow the Milky Way itself to discover this next mystery. Under the faint glow of the Milky Way's millions of stars lies a creature of darkness. In the eyes of Australia's first peoples, a great emu is stretched out across the night sky, not drawn by the stars, but by the dark spaces between them. If you trace the Milky Way band on a very dark night in the southern hemisphere, you can make out the form of a giant, flightless bird hidden in the starry river. The dark emu emerges from the contrast of thick star clouds and the inky black dust lanes that obscure portions of the galaxy's light. Its head is formed by a famous coal-black patch near the Southern Cross, the Coalsack Nebula, and from here its long neck and body run along the Milky Way's glowing backbone. To an imaginative eye, it is unmistakable, an enormous celestial emu poised among the stars. For countless generations, Aboriginal Australians have looked up and seen this emu of the Milky Way keeping watch in the sky. It figures prominently in their dreaming stories and traditional knowledge. Unlike the constellations of Europe that connect stars into shapes, this is a dark constellation, a silhouette formed by the absence of starlight against the galactic glow. This concept might seem unusual to those of us used to only drawing lines between stars, but it speaks to a deep familiarity with the sky. When you lie under a moonless outback sky and see the Milky Way arch overhead, the emu's shape becomes evident, and one can appreciate how natural it was for people living under that brilliant firmament to perceive a guardian spirit there. One widely told Aboriginal story of the emu in the sky comes from the dreaming, the creation time. In this tale, there was once a blind man who lived in the bush with his wife. Every day, because he was unable to hunt, the man would tell his wife to go out and collect emu eggs for food. And she did, dutifully, each day bringing back as many eggs as she could find. But her husband was never satisfied. He complained that the eggs she gathered were too small and scolded her, insisting she find bigger ones. So, day after day, The wife ventured farther from home in search of the largest emu eggs to please the blind man. One morning, she came upon tracks much larger than any she had seen before, the footprints of a truly enormous emu. Thinking a giant emu might mean giant eggs, she eagerly followed the tracks. They led her to the nesting ground of a massive emu. There, she found the huge bird guarding its clutch of oversized eggs. The woman thought of her husband's hunger and his demands, and she decided to try to chase the emu off. She picked up stones and threw them, hoping to scare the creature away. Unfortunately for her, this only served to anger the emu. With a booming hiss and a rush of feathers, the gigantic bird charged at her. The woman turned to run, but it was too late. The furious emu knocked her down, and in its rage, trampled her on the spot. Back at their camp, the blind man became worried when his wife did not return by evening. Hungry and concerned, he felt around the camp, searching for anything to eat, until he found a bush with some berries on it. When he ate the berries, an extraordinary thing happened. His blindness began to lift. Bit by bit, his vision returned until he could see clearly for the first time in years. With sight restored, the man fashioned a spear and a woomera, a throwing stick, and set off to find his wife. It did not take him long to discover her tracks, and alongside them, the deep three-toed impressions of the huge emu. He followed the trail and soon came upon the body of his wife, and not far off, the great emu itself, still lurking near its nest. Grief-stricken and enraged, the man confronted the bird. A fierce struggle ensued, but in the end, with a well-aimed throw of his spear, the blind man slew the giant emu. He had his vengeance, but it could not bring back his beloved wife. In his sorrow, the man decided that the emu's spirit should be banished forever. He cast the spirit of the emu up into the heavens, and there the emu remains to this day, its dark form stretched across the Milky Way, forever running through the sky. To the Aboriginal elders who passed down this story, the emu in the sky is more than just a tale of tragedy. It is also a practical lesson. The appearance and position of the emu in the sky signal changes in the season and mirror the behaviour of real emus on the land. At certain times of year, just after sunset, the emu in the sky stands upright, as if sitting or guarding a nest. This corresponds to the time when emus on the ground are nesting and laying eggs. During this period, the elders knew there were no emu eggs to collect. It was a season to let them be. Later in the year, the emu figure stretches out along the sky as if running. That coincides with the time after the eggs have hatched, and it becomes sustainable to gather wild emu eggs again. In this way, the sky served as a living calendar and guide for managing resources. By reading the position of the celestial emu, Aboriginal Australians ensured they did not over-harvest the eggs and disrupt the emu's life cycle. The sky itself taught moderation and timing. It is awe-inspiring to realise that such environmental knowledge, essentially an astronomical calendar, is encoded within an ancient story and a pattern in the stars. The emu of the Milky Way stands as a reminder that science and myth need not be at odds. Here, careful observation of nature is woven seamlessly into a memorable narrative. By watching the heavens, these early astronomers discerned a link between the sky and the land, between the movements above and the life cycles below. When we gaze at the Milky Way tonight and discern that faint outline of an emu among the stars, we are connecting with an experience that may go back tens of thousands of years. We see what they saw, the dark emu shape and its seasonal dance. And perhaps we feel what they felt, a sense that the sky is alive with stories and guidance, a source of wisdom as well as wonder. Now, As our eyes move from the dark emu in the glowing band of the Milky Way, they fall upon the brightest light of the night. There is a celestial companion that has followed humanity through every age, a luminous orb whose face has inspired more poems, myths, and dreams than perhaps any other object in the sky: the moon. Before we chase the wandering planets, we pause to bask in the gentle radiance of Earth's silvery satellite. A soft silver light spills across the ground as the moon rises, bathing the world in its glow. There is a hushed magic in a moonlit night. Shadows grow long and gentle, the contours of the landscape softened under a pearly sheen. For as long as humans have had language, the moon has been a muse. We have gazed up at its changing face and woven countless tales about it. Unlike the cold, fixed stars, the moon feels almost intimate, our nightly companion, waxing and waning in a familiar cycle. Across cultures, the moon has often been personified as a deity or a celestial being. To the Greeks, she was Selene, driving a silver chariot across the sky. To the Romans, Luna, casting her pale light on sleeping cities. Many have imagined a face peering from the lunar disk, the man in the moon, as European folklore calls it, or the rabbit in the moon, as seen in East Asian and Mesoamerican traditions. Indeed, when you look closely at the full moon, the pattern of dark lunar Maria, ancient lava plains, against the bright highlands, can resemble the shapes of eyes and a mouth, or the outline of a rabbit with long ears. It's no wonder that storytellers filled those shadows with lively characters and legends. One beautiful tale from China speaks of a woman named Chang'e who lives on the moon. Long ago, Chang'e drank a divine elixir and floated up to the heavens, coming to rest on the moon, where she became a goddess. There, she is not alone. A small jade rabbit keeps her company, endlessly mixing magical herbs under a cassia tree. Especially during the autumn harvest moon, families in China remember Chang'e and her rabbit, telling their children to look for them on the face of the moon. The story imbues the moon with a gentle, lonely warmth, a shining lantern hung in the sky carrying someone's eternal love and longing. The moon's cycle of phases, from slender crescent to full brilliance and back to dark, has been humanity's primary calendar for millennia. The word month itself comes from moon. New moon nights bring complete darkness. Then a thin crescent appears at dusk, growing each night until the full moon dominates the sky, only to wane away and vanish, and the cycle begins anew. This rhythmic waxing and waning suggested to many ancient people themes of renewal and eternity. In some indigenous Australian traditions, for example, the phases of the moon are explained as the moon man dying when the moon wanes and disappears, and being reborn as the new slender crescent, over and over again. The regularity was reassuring, a celestial promise that time moves in a circle and that darkness will give way to light again. Unlike the stars, the moon does not shine with its own fire. It reflects the light of the sun, turning what would be harsh daylight into a tender, nocturnal glow. Ancient philosophers in places like Greece and India reasoned this out long before modern science confirmed it. The idea that the moon is a mirror of the sun led some cultures to imagine the two as lovers in a cosmic dance. The sun, a radiant god, whose bright face forces the gentle moon goddess to retreat as he approaches, only allowing her to emerge when he is gone. In other traditions, the sun and moon were siblings, taking turns ruling the sky. The Inuit of the far north tell of the sun and moon as brother and sister in eternal chase across the heavens. Whatever the relationship, the dependence of the moon's light on the sun's reminded people that nothing in nature exists in isolation. Everything is interconnected, day to night, earth to sky. The moon has a profound effect on Earth beyond just its light. Its gravitational pull subtly moves our oceans, causing the tides to rise and fall. To those who lived by the sea, the link between the moon and the restless waters was a deep mystery. They saw the ocean responding to the moon's silent commands, and it only enhanced the moon's reputation as a powerful influence. Even today, folklore persists that the full moon affects human behavior and moods. The term lunacy stems from lunar, reflecting an old belief that the moon's phases could drive people mad or inspire strange passions. While science finds no evidence for most such effects, the cultural impact of the moon is undeniable. We can all attest to the particular atmosphere of a full moon night, how it can feel eerily bright and awake, or stir something in the soul that is hard to put into words. At times, the moon also plays hide and seek with the sun. During a solar eclipse, the moon perfectly covers the sun for a few moments, turning day into an uncanny twilight and revealing the sun's corona as a ghostly halo. Ancient peoples often found this event terrifying. After all, the reliable sun was being swallowed up. In many cultures, eclipses were explained as cosmic creatures devouring the sun or moon: dragons, demons, giant celestial frogs. People would shout, drum, or pray to frighten the monster away. And sure enough, after a brief spell of midday darkness, the sun would return as the moon moved on. Conversely, during some full moons, the Earth's shadow falls on the moon, causing a lunar eclipse where the moon dims and often turns copper red, a blood moon. These events showed that the sun, Earth, and moon were part of a grand cosmic alignment, and they fueled both fear and fascination long before we understood their true nature. Yet for all its occasional drama, the moon is usually a source of calm and continuity. Think of how many generations have gazed at the same moon. The ancient Egyptians watched the moon over the sands of Giza. The poets of old China composed odes to its glow. Sailors on lonely seas navigated by its gentle light. They all looked at essentially the same luminous disk we see tonight. The thought can be comforting. No matter how much the world changes, the moon remains, cycling through its phases, binding us across time under its light. And so, on a clear night, when the moon is full, you might feel a quiet companionship in its presence. It softens the darkness just enough to make the night inviting rather than daunting. Notice how moonlight can transform the world. A meadow or snowy field glows with an otherworldly sheen. A familiar garden becomes a silvery dreamland. In the silence, you can imagine that the moon is watching over the sleeping earth, a gentle lantern in the sky. As the night wears on, the moon slowly journeys westward and may set before dawn, leaving the stars to reign alone. But whether visible or not, our moon's influence is ever present, silently governing the rhythms of tides and time, inspiring our stories, lighting our nights. In its glow we find both the reflection of a brilliant sun and the projection of our own inner world of myths and dreams. Now our attention turns to other travelers of the night. The moon may be Earth's closest friend in the sky, but it is not the only celestial wanderer. Scattered among the stars are 5 elusive lights that also move in their own paths. The planets, which ancient sky watchers named after wandering gods. With the moon's gentle radiance still in our hearts, we set our sights on these far wanderers and the mysteries they carry. as our journey under the cosmic canopy continues. They first appear as bright, star-like points of light. But unlike the true stars, these lights do not stay fixed in their constellations. Night after night, and especially month after month, they wander. To the earliest sky watchers, they were mysterious and alive, moving against the backdrop of the seemingly eternal star patterns. The Greeks called them planetae, meaning wanderers, and from this we get the word planet. Before telescopes revealed their true nature, these wandering stars were associated with gods, given the names of deities who seemed to influence the fates and emotions of life on Earth. Even today, we know them by those ancient names: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the five wanderers visible to the naked eye, each with its own hue and habits, each carrying a legacy of myth and mystery. If you observe the sky over weeks, you will see how these planets meander along a path near the same ecliptic line that the sun and moon travel. Most of the time, they drift eastward relative to the backdrop of fixed stars. But occasionally, they seem to halt and even reverse direction for a while, looping a lazy backward circle before continuing on their way. These puzzling retrograde motions bewildered ancient astronomers who strove to understand the dance of the planets. It was as if the gods themselves would sometimes retrace their steps. We now know this looping is an illusion created as Earth overtakes other planets in its orbit. But to early observers, it only deepened the planet's aura of the uncanny. Each of the wandering stars has its own personality in the night sky. Mercury, the innermost planet, flits so close to the sun that it is seldom seen, just a fleeting spark near the horizon at dawn or dusk. The Romans named it for the quicksilver messenger of the gods, Mercurius, for it darts rapidly from morning sky to evening sky and back, never lingering long. Mercury's elusive appearances made it a subject of curiosity and symbolism. To many it represented restlessness and change, forever chasing at the heels of the sun. Venus, by contrast, is a steadfast beacon when she appears. Often called the morning star or the evening star, Venus outshines every other point of light in the night. Only the moon can rival her brilliance. To ancient eyes, such radiance marked her as divine. The Sumerians knew her as Inanna, the embodiment of love and war. The Greeks and Romans dedicated her to Aphrodite, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. In truth, Venus is a world veiled in thick clouds that reflect sunlight intensely, but to us on Earth, she has always seemed a gentle lamp of heaven. When Venus graces the twilight, hanging low in the west after sunset, it's easy to understand why she was seen as an omen of beauty and a herald of evening peace. When she rises before the dawn, some traditions saw her as a bright harbinger of day, the morning star that announces the sun's approach. Over the ages, Venus inspired both hope and veneration. Even now, seeing that silver blue light lingering in a fading sky can be strangely comforting, as if a friendly eye is watching over the world. Then there is ruddy Mars, the wanderer that glows with a subtle red tint. Mars does not always stand out. For much of the time it remains a modest amber spark. But roughly every 2 years, Earth and Mars draw closer in their orbits, and Mars brightens enormously in our sky. At such times, its rusty red colour is unmistakable, and it outshines all the stars around it. To ancient peoples, the sudden fiery presence of Mars was often an ill omen. The Romans linked it to Mars, their god of war, Ares to the Greeks. In many cultures, red is the color of blood and fire, so a bright red star was naturally associated with conflict, aggression, or danger. One can imagine ancient sky watchers looking up when Mars blazed above, wondering what sign of strife it portended. Yet in reality, Mars is a quiet desert world, its red hue coming from iron in its soil. A planet perhaps not unlike our own in some ways, with polar ice caps and changing seasons. Today, we send spacecraft to study Mars up close, turning what was once an object of warlike fear into a beacon of scientific hope, a potential future home for humanity, or at least a keeper of the secret of whether life ever existed beyond Earth. In that sense, Mars has transformed from a symbol of conflict into a symbol of curiosity and the enduring human desire to explore. Jupiter, the largest planet, appears as a kingly star, usually shining steadily and bright, though not as bright as Venus. Under dark skies, it can even cast a faint shadow. The ancients recognized its regal nature and named it for the king of their gods, Jupiter, Zeus to the Greeks, lord of thunder and sky. With a primitive telescope in 1610, Galileo discovered 4 moons orbiting Jupiter, moving pinpricks of light that proved not everything in the universe revolved around Earth. It was a revelation that these wandering stars were entire systems of their own. To this day, you can step outside on a clear night with steady binoculars and glimpse those same Galilean moons as tiny sparks near Jupiter, like a miniature solar system in the distance. Modern astronomers have revealed Jupiter to be a striped world of raging storms and pastel clouds, with a great red cyclone that has likely been swirling for centuries. But even without any aid, just seeing Jupiter glowing in the night can be stirring. It is as if a benevolent monarch is keeping watch in the heavens, moving slowly across the sky with stately grace. If Jupiter is the sky's king, golden Saturn is its jewel. To the naked eye, Saturn is not as bright as Jupiter, but it gleams with a distinct golden hue, a steady light among the stars. The Romans named it for an ancient god of time and harvest, Saturnus, perhaps because this planet moves so slowly through the zodiac, taking nearly 30 years to complete one circuit of the sky. In myth, Saturn was the father of Jupiter, an old god eventually overthrown by his son. One might see a poetic echo of that in how Jupiter, brighter, closer, outshines Saturn in the sky. Yet Saturn remains, distant and patient, circling in the darkness. When early astronomers pointed their telescopes at Saturn, they were astonished to see it was surrounded by something they could not resolve. Ears on the planet, some thought, or perhaps a triple-bodied world. Only later did the truth become clear. Saturn is encircled by magnificent rings. Those rings, made of countless icy particles orbiting in unison, make Saturn a breathtaking sight in a telescope even today. But with the unaided eye, we sense something special about Saturn too. It does not twinkle like a distant star. Its light is calm and steady, and its golden colour sets it apart. It's easy to imagine why stargazers of old assigned it to the deity of time. It appears dignified and ancient, as if it has seen ages come and go. Beyond Saturn, the ancient sky watchers knew of no others. Uranus and Neptune, far dimmer, remained undiscovered until the age of telescopes, and even then, they were not immediately recognized for what they were. Once found, however, humanity continued the tradition of naming planets after gods: Uranus for the sky deity, father of Saturn, and Neptune for the god of the sea, inspired by its cool blue tint in the telescope. though these giants lie on the fringe of naked eye visibility, Uranus can be barely glimpsed as a dim star under perfect conditions. Their presence expanded our solar family and deepened the mystery of what other worlds might lie out there, unseen. And indeed, in recent years, astronomers have debated the possibility of yet another distant planet, a so-called Planet 9, lurking far beyond Neptune, influencing the motions of some of the farthest known objects. If it exists, it eludes us still, hiding in the cold outer darkness and waiting to be found. Not all wanderers are as predictable as the planets. Once in a great while, a new star appears in the sky, with a luminous tail stretching across the heavens. A comet. To ancient observers, comets were some of the most alarming and enigmatic of omens. Unlike the cyclical planets, these hairy stars, as the Greeks called them, would burst into view unexpectedly and then vanish weeks later, as if heralds from beyond. Many a kingdom and empire trembled at the sight of a comet. The sudden appearance of a bright one, hanging like a celestial torch in the night, was recorded as a precursor to great events: a king's death, a war, a plague, or natural disaster. The famed Halley's Comet, for example, was noted in medieval Europe just before the Norman conquest of England in 1066, and later chroniclers wove it into the legend, claiming it foretold the downfall of a king. In truth, comets are icy wanderers from the distant fringes of our solar system, ignited by the sun's warmth when they venture inward. Their splendid tails are made of gas and dust pushed out by the solar wind, creating a glowing streak that can span a huge swath of the sky. But before science understood this, who could blame our ancestors for trembling at the sight? A comet felt like a message from the gods or the universe itself, its origin unknown, its intent possibly dire. With time, comets became better understood and perhaps less fearsome, yet they never lost their mysterious beauty. Even in recent decades, people around the world stood in awe at comets like Hale-Bopp or Neowise, marveling at these cosmic visitors that arrive perhaps once in a lifetime. To look up and see a pale filament of light, like a celestial broom sweeping among the stars, is to feel the vastness of space in a deeply personal way. It reminds us that our solar system is not a static clockwork, but a living stage where surprises can still appear out of the darkness. Aside from comets, the night also offers the fleeting wonder of meteors, shooting stars that streak suddenly across the dark. We encountered one earlier as a quick flash eliciting a wish. At certain times of the year, during meteor showers, dozens of these fiery streaks may flit overhead each hour as Earth passes through old trails of comet dust. Different cultures had different explanations for these silent fireworks. Some imagined them as souls descending to Earth, or as celestial tears, or sparks from the divine forge of creation. In 1833, a spectacular Leonid meteor storm over North America set imaginations ablaze. Witnesses described the night as filled with falling stars like snowflakes, and many believed Judgment Day was at hand. Today we know meteors are usually tiny sand grain-sized bits of cosmic debris burning up in our atmosphere. Yet knowing this hardly diminishes their charm. If anything, it adds to the wonder. A grain of dust from somewhere in the solar system, perhaps shed by a passing comet ages ago, can draw a bright line of light across our sky and make us stop, breathless, for an instant. Celestial visitors, like comets and meteors, gently remind us that Earth is not alone in space. We journey through a vast cosmic environment where we occasionally encounter the paths of other cosmic travelers. They connect our world to the wider universe in brief beautiful flashes, blurring the boundary between Earth and sky with their showers of light. These planets and other wanderers, our celestial neighbours, have long sparked our imagination precisely because they seem to move through the heavens with purpose. Over time, science revealed them to be worlds in their own right, places with landscapes and atmospheres, moons and rings, not so different in some ways from our Earth. This realization has only amplified our sense of wonder. When we gaze at Jupiter or Venus now, we know we are looking at entire globes, each with its own environment and history. That tiny bright point is a planet with swirling cloud bands, or a shrouded greenhouse sky, or a rust-red desert surface. The mind almost cannot grasp it without slipping into a reverie. Perhaps that is why so much fiction and fantasy has been devoted to the planets. From ancient myths of gods embodying those lights, to modern tales of Martians and Venusians, we have always peopled those other worlds with our dreams and curiosities. Even when probes and rovers showed us barren landscapes, we persist in dreaming of sending humans to walk on Mars, of colonies on the moon, our Earth's own wandering companion, of maybe one day terraforming distant planets into new Edens. The planets invite us to project our hopes outward, to imagine new frontiers. And then there are the planets that lie beyond our solar system, the exoplanets orbiting distant stars. In just the last few decades, we have confirmed thousands of them, ranging from giants larger than Jupiter to small rocky spheres that might resemble Earth. We cannot see these far-off planets with our eyes, but we know they are there by the subtle wobbles of starlight and dips in brightness as they transit their suns. They are truly dreaming planets, in the sense that they exist mostly in our calculations and in artists' vivid illustrations. For now, they are whispers of worlds. Yet just knowing that they are real, that practically every star we see may host its own family of planets, stretches the imagination enormously. Somewhere out there could be another planet with gentle rains and blue skies, or a world wrapped in eternal night lit by twin moons, or a sky glowing purple over alien oceans. The possibilities stir a deep and quiet excitement, even as we lie here under our familiar sky, contemplating the enormity beyond. Lying here under the blanket of night, one can feel connected, not just to our Earth, but to all these distant sisters in space. The same force of gravity that holds you to the ground is tugging on those planetary orbs, drawing them in splendid ellipses around the sun. The light that glints from Venus or Mars into your eyes is sunlight, the same sunlight that warmed your face today, having travelled to those worlds and then journeyed to us, as if to bring a tangible hint of them. In a very real way, we are part of one cosmic system with these neighbours. Perhaps that is why the planets have always pulled at our hearts. They are close enough to be part of our nightly experience, yet far enough to remain ever elusive, ever beckoning. As this night deepens, the wandering planets follow their courses above, silent markers of time and cosmic order. The ancients felt these moving lights influenced human destinies, weaving threads of fate in the tapestry of the sky. Whether or not that is true, the planets certainly influence our imagination. They remind us that our story is not confined to Earth, that there are other havens in the void and other chapters of the cosmic tale being written out there. Under the spell of their slow, majestic dance, we too can drift into dreams of other worlds. The hour grows late, and one by one the planets have set or hidden themselves from view, leaving the faint glow of the distant stars to watch over us. Yet their presence lingers in our minds. We close our eyes and can almost picture ourselves sailing among them, gliding past the dusty red canyons of Mars, skimming the cloud tops of Jupiter, floating within the glittering rings of Saturn like a tiny ice crystal. In our dreams, we can visit these places freely, guided by the faint light of those wanderers that once graced our sky. Tonight, as we surrender to slumber, we carry with us the ancient and enduring wonder that the planets and stars inspire. Above us, the earth continues its slow turn, and soon the first glow of dawn will erase the stars and planets from the sky. But in the quiet space behind closed eyelids, the cosmic journey goes on. There, in the boundless theatre of the mind, we are weightless explorers, travelling farther and farther outward, beyond the confines of our little world, beyond even the edges of our solar system, to wherever curiosity leads. Rest now, under the dome of the night. Feel the cool breath of the evening and the subtle tug of the planets, as the gentle glow of the stars guides you into peaceful dreams. In this quiet darkness, you are cradled by the universe itself, safe and at ease, drifting among ancient lights. Let your thoughts float as lightly as stardust. Let the cosmos hum its soft lullaby around you. Sleep now, beneath infinities. As we drift farther from the familiar realms we once knew, the cosmic ocean opens around us in silent majesty. We have left our solar system far behind, past the outer planets, beyond the far-flung comets, and now only the starry void surrounds us. Starlight glimmers in the distance like tiny beacons, each one a sun in its own right. The darkness between these stars is not empty, but filled with possibility. In this gentle void, we come upon a faint, luminous haze suspended in the vastness. It glows softly, a delicate blossom of light in the dark, a nebula, a celestial cradle where new stars are quietly being born. This nebula drifts in the starry abyss like a gauzy, ethereal cloud, its edges tender and undefined, blending into the surrounding night. It hangs there weightlessly, as though painted with the lightest brushstrokes against the canvas of space. Up close, we would see it as a vast expanse of gas and dust spanning dozens of light years. Yet from our vantage, it appears as a delicate smear of iridescence against eternity. Within this cosmic cloud, creation stirs. Wisps of hydrogen and cosmic dust swirl and gather, drawn slowly inward by an inexorable force. Gravity, the gentle sculptor of stars. Over countless millennia, under the soft pull of gravity's embrace, denser clumps form deep within the nebula's heart. Here in the quiet womb of the nebula, the gas becomes warmer and begins to glow. These are protostars, infant suns cocooned in veils of dust. At first they are faint embers, hidden from sight by their shrouds. But as they gather more mass, their cores grow hotter, until one day, with a gentle burst of light, a star is born. The newborn star's light spills out, illuminating the surrounding nebula in shades of rose and sapphire. In these celestial cradles, the first light of a new sun is a diffuse, pastel glow, like dawn filtering through fog. In this tranquil cosmic nursery, pillars and filaments of darker dust weave through glowing gas, creating shapes that look like drifting tendrils or towering clouds. These structures, sculpted by starlight and stellar winds, stand silently amid the glow. One can imagine them as colossal silhouettes of sleeping giants or mountains suspended in space. They are serene and motionless to our eyes, though within them a slow dance unfolds. Newborn stars push against their birth clouds with gentle pressure, carving out cavities and hollows. The scene is both dynamic and peaceful, like the calm of a new morning after a long night, where the only movements are soft and unhurried. Consider the Orion Nebula, a vast stellar nursery hanging below Orion's belt in the night sky. To the unaided eye, it appears as a faint, misty star, but through a telescope, it blossoms into a tapestry of colour. Within its luminous clouds, hundreds of stars are taking shape. At the nebula's centre, a clutch of young, bright stars acts like a cosmic lantern. Their radiance lights up the gas around them, revealing swirls of violet and pink. The Orion Nebula's glow is the gentle announcement of creation, a cosmic dawn chorus sung in light. Even across the gulf of 1,300 light-years, its beauty reaches us as a soft, steady glow, a promise of new suns forming in silence. Not far from this bright nebula lies a smaller, darker cloud called the Horsehead Nebula, a tiny silhouette of dust in the shape of a horse's head, revealed in deep photographs. It stands as a reminder that in these cosmic cradles there are intricate details and whimsical shapes hidden in the glow, awaiting our discovery. Elsewhere, in a nebula known poetically as the Pillars of Creation, dark towers of dust rise against a backdrop of starlight. These pillars are cold and dense, cosmic mountains where stars spark to life deep inside their peaks. They stand tranquil and unchanging to mortal eyes, yet within, gravity is steadily at work. Over eons, parts of these dusty columns collapse inward, birthing fresh stars that will one day emerge and burn away the very clouds that nurtured them. It is a slow, exquisite cycle of creation, the ephemeral cradling the eternal. In truth, each great nebula is the womb not of one star, but of many. By the time the nebula's gas has dispersed, it may have given birth to dozens or even hundreds of stars, a whole stellar family born from one cloud. Some siblings will be massive and short-lived, others smaller and steadier, like our sun. But for now, in the pillars and the hidden dens of the nebula, they are all infants together, coalescing slowly in the dark. All around us in this nebula, colours bloom in the darkness. Gentle pinks and reds glow from energized hydrogen gas. There are faint blues where starlight reflects off tiny dust grains, and deeper shadows where the dust is thick and impenetrable, hiding what lies behind. If we float here long enough, we might even see subtle changes as new stars ignite and begin to shape the cloud. But their timescale is beyond our own. We can only imagine it, like trying to watch a flower bloom in slow motion, each petal of light unfurling over millennia. Here, time stretches out, and every moment is expansive and calm. Within the nebula's serene glow, dust motes drift aimlessly. These tiny particles are remnants of ancient stars that long ago ended their lives and cast their enriched dust into space. Now that dust becomes the seeds for new stars and planets. In the quiet gloom of the nebula, each grain of cosmic dust holds the memory of a star that lived and died, and the promise of a new world to come. It is a peaceful kind of rebirth, one generation of stars gifting the raw material for the next, all carried out amid a profound cosmic silence. Despite the grandeur of this stellar nursery, there is a hush here. If we could somehow shrink ourselves and drift right into the heart of the nebula, the scene around us would be otherworldly. We'd float amid faintly glowing mist, with newborn stars shining like lanterns in a fog. One brilliant young sun might burn blue-white nearby, its light carving shifting rays through the cloud. Towering above, columns of denser gas loom like phantom mountains, their tips glowing where starlight strikes them. Elsewhere, delicate filaments of illuminated gas stretch out like gossamer bridges between star and cloud. The colours here are subtle and dreamlike, a blush of pink in one direction, a ghostly green in another, all suffused in deep twilight. It is a cosmic cloudscape of immense scale, yet profoundly tranquil. There is no ground, no up or down. We simply float, weightless, in an endless gentle twilight, turning slowly to take in the panoramic glow. Tiny motes of dust drift by like sparks from a distant fire, catching the faint light and winking softly as they pass. All is tranquil. It feels like wandering through a dream, a silent, slow-motion fireworks display frozen in time. In this silence, we sense the great patience of creation. Nothing is hurried here. The birth of stars is as soft as a dawn. Every glow and shadow is in a perfect, unrushed tempo. We could stay here for 1,000 years, and the scene would only change subtly, as infant stars gradually brighten and clouds slowly thin. It is a place where time nearly stands still, a sanctuary of becoming, cradled in the quiet of space. Though the nebula appears unchanging to us, it is full of ongoing miracles. Perhaps somewhere deep within, at this very moment, a critical clump of gas has just tipped over into becoming a star. A fusion flame flickers on for the first time in the darkness, and another tiny sun is born. The change is imperceptible to us, watching from afar. Yet the nebula knows. The balance of light within it shifts ever so slightly as a new spark joins the gentle chorus. It's humbling to realize that even in this moment of stillness, creation continues quietly, without need for witness or fanfare. Interestingly, not all nebulae are cradles of birth. Some are farewells, the delicate remains of sun-like stars that have reached the end of their lives. When a gentle star like our sun eventually uses up its fuel, it releases its outer layers into space, creating a glowing bubble of gas called a planetary nebula. These final nebulae hang in the darkness like cosmic orchids, rings and shells of colour expanding slowly away from their fading central star. They are not sites of new birth, but rather cosmic memorials, shining for a brief few millennia before dispersing. Yet even in their quiet finale, they enrich the galaxy with elements and beauty. In time, their material too will mix with clouds, like the Orion Nebula, contributing to the next generation of stars. In this way, every end in the universe blends gently into a new beginning. All across the cosmos, countless such nebulae serve as gentle reminders that creation is an ongoing story. They are the springtime of the universe, places where new light is born to replace the old. Over billions of years, stars emerge, live out their shining lives, and eventually fade or explode, enriching space with more ingredients. And in those enriched clouds, new stars take shape. It is a reassuring cycle, without beginning or end, that we can perceive, a cosmic rhythm of birth and rebirth. It is as if the universe hums a gentle lullaby in these nurseries, ensuring that new stars will always rise, even as old ones grow dim. In the delicate balance of cosmic death and rebirth, there is a soothing promise that the light of creation never truly goes out. Bearing witness to these stellar origins fills us with quiet hope. It means that even in the vast, cold darkness of space, new warmth and light are forever being kindled. There is a comforting lesson in the nebula's soft glow, that life and light perpetually renew themselves in the universe. Just as morning follows the longest night on Earth, so too do new stars bloom out of the nebula night. We leave this region with hearts lightened by the knowledge that creation is always at work, and we carry a piece of the nebula's serenity within us. Reluctantly, we take our leave of the nebula's embrace. We carry with us the peace and wonder it inspired, the image of newborn stars nestled in luminous clouds, lingering gently in our minds. Our journey moves onward, gently and unhurried through the cosmic ocean, carrying us from this birthplace of stars toward a small, distant world we call home. As we glide across light years and return to the realm of planets, we find ourselves under the familiar skies of Earth once again. Yet everything feels subtly changed, touched by the serenity of the nebula, as if a part of us is still out there among the newborn stars. Even here, beneath our planet's atmosphere, the cosmos has more wonders to reveal. In the high latitudes of Earth's night, the firmament itself begins to stir with ghostly light, as if echoing the nebula's glow in a more intimate way. The stage is set for a different kind of celestial spectacle, the dancing lights of the auroras shimmering just above our world. The air is crisp and cold under a polar sky. Stars glitter in a darkness as deep as the nebula's heart we left behind. Snow crunches softly underfoot as we stand in a quiet clearing, breath escaping in faint white clouds before vanishing into the night. All around is stillness and anticipation. In the far north, winter nights stretch on for many hours. In some places, the sun doesn't rise for days or weeks. In that extended darkness, the sky becomes a canvas for auroras whenever the solar winds deliver their energy. Night after night, the stage is set for nature's lights to appear, and those who live at these latitudes grow up with the aurora as a familiar yet always enchanted part of their world. In the silence, we can hear our own heartbeats. A faint breeze murmurs through nearby evergreens, its sigh almost too soft to notice. Now and then, a distant crack echoes from the frozen lake as the ice shifts in the deep cold. These subtle sounds only deepen the sense of calm. It feels as if the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting under the stars for the sky to awaken. Above the horizon, a pale green glow begins to unfurl, like a gauzy curtain being drawn across the stars. It starts softly, a timid luminescence low in the north, but soon it spreads and intensifies, flowing upward and across the dome of night. The aurora has arrived, a silent ballet of light awakening in Earth's sky. We gaze upward in wonder as ribbons of green light ripple overhead. They sway lazily at first, then begin a slow dance, undulating like silk scarves caught in a gentle breeze. Hints of other colours shimmer at the edges of the lights, a blush of faint pink, a whisper of violet high above. The stars blink behind this luminous veil, sometimes obscured, then revealed again as the auroral curtains drift and part. There is no sound from the sky, yet it feels as if the night itself is singing, a soft, silent music in rhythm with the gliding lights. The aurora borealis, the northern lights, paints the darkness with an ethereal glow. It is a transient gift from the sun to our skies. Charged particles cast off by our star, travelling across millions of miles before whispering against Earth's atmosphere. Near the planet's poles, those particles energize the thin upper air, causing oxygen and nitrogen to release photons, tiny bursts of light that together form these sweeping tapestries. Yet in this moment of witnessing, we are far from thinking of particles and physics. It simply feels like magic. The sky transforms into a living canvas, and we stand quietly, feeling small and spellbound under the cosmic display. Above us, the lights continually reshape themselves. A diffuse glow might suddenly sharpen into well-defined streaks that arc across the sky. At times, the aurora forms a long arch, stretching from horizon to horizon, as though a bridge of light has connected distant mountains. Then the arch dissolves into flickering rays that appear and vanish in an instant, like the beam of an unseen flashlight waving through the darkness. Some patches pulse gently, brightening and dimming as if breathing. Others drape downward like slowly falling green rain. Sometimes, when the display intensifies, the aurora forms a corona directly overhead, countless rays converging toward the zenith, creating the illusion of a colossal glowing crown above. In those moments, it feels as though we are standing at the center of a cosmic dome of light, the entire sky alive and cascading in color. Surrounded by this celestial choreography, one cannot help but feel utterly immersed in its beauty. On some nights, the aurora's dance is brief, a solitary arc that shimmers for a few minutes and fades, leaving the sky dark once more. On other nights, the performance can last for hours, ebbing and flowing, as if the sky itself is breathing light in and out. No matter how long the display endures, to the enchanted observer below, time loses meaning. Each minute is absorbed fully, and when it's over, one feels both astonished and peacefully fulfilled, as though having witnessed a gentle miracle. The snow-covered landscape around us glows under the aurora's light. A frozen lake nearby mirrors fragments of the colours above on its glassy surface whenever the wind stills. We feel a calm hush, as if the whole world is holding its breath to watch. Our own worries and thoughts grow quiet too, diminutive in the face of such grandeur. During particularly bright outbursts, the aurora's light is strong enough to subtly illuminate the ground, casting gentle moving shadows on the snow. Imagine seeing your shadow by aurora light, the snow tinted pale green around you. It is an otherworldly experience, as if the sky has lowered its lights just for you. Standing here, one senses a connection to something ancient and vast, as though these lights are a bridge between Earth and the wider cosmos, a reminder that even on our home planet, we are part of the celestial tapestry. Time seems to blur under the spell of the aurora. Minutes or hours might slip by uncounted as we remain transfixed by the slow cosmic waltz above. In the face of such splendor, human concerns fall away. We might find ourselves smiling without knowing, or shedding a quiet tear moved by the grandeur overhead. The cold air no longer feels biting, and the stillness around us becomes comforting, like a warm blanket. It is as though the sky has opened a doorway to the sublime, and for a little while we step through, leaving ordinary life behind. The colours of the aurora form a delicate palette against the night. The most familiar glow is green, born of oxygen molecules, high in the atmosphere, releasing their stored energy. But at the lower edge of the lights, a vivid crimson sometimes ripples, and at the highest crown of the aurora, faint violet and blue hues can shimmer. Each hue is a subtle signature of Earth's upper air: oxygen painting, emerald and rose; nitrogen lending, indigo and amethyst. These scientific truths quietly underpin the beauty, but in the moment of witnessing, one simply sees a curtain of living colour. It is like watching the heavens dip a brush into different paints, blending and swirling them in real time. We stand listening to the profound silence. Some aurora watchers have claimed that during the most intense displays, they heard a faint crackling or whooshing sound, almost imperceptible, as if the lights were whispering secrets. Perhaps it was just the blood singing in their ears, or the gentle rustle of the frozen ground. Or perhaps the aurora does have a voice so faint that only the quietest night can reveal it. True or not, as we tilt our heads, it's tempting to imagine a chorus accompanying the lights, a distant chime or sigh with each wave of brightness. Yet all remains hushed. The effect is mesmerizing, an otherworldly show that engages our sight so fully that every other sense feels heightened in the stillness. Under these dancing lights, it's easy to feel connected across time. We know that long before us, others stood under these very skies, watching the same eerie glow. Our ancestors around the world tried to explain the phenomenon with their imaginations, developing whimsical and profound stories steeped in wonder and awe. Across different cultures, one common thread was the sense of significance the auroras inspired. They were never seen as trivial. The lights always stirred something deep in the human spirit, be it hope, reverence, or respectful fear. One can imagine a child in a far northern village long ago, awakened one winter night by a strange light seeping through the window. Rubbing sleepy eyes, the child bundles up and steps outside into the frosty air. Above the snow-laden roofs, the sky is alive with undulating green fire. In silent amazement, the child watches the heavens flow like a river of light. Perhaps a parent joins them, wrapping an arm around the little one and whispering that they are witnessing something magical. The child might remember this moment forever, the first time the night truly came alive. Even without understanding what caused the aurora, the child feels an overwhelming sense of wonder and safety, as if the universe itself is putting on a gentle show just for them. Such memories, passed down through generations, kept the sense of awe alive long before science explained the aurora's secrets. And even today, when we know its physical cause, the aurora's enchantment remains undiminished. We all become like children under its spell, gazing upward with eyes full of wonder. In the Scandinavian far north, the Norse peoples saw the aurora as more than mere light. To them, it was a reflection of mighty events beyond the mortal realm. Some Viking legends spoke of the Valkyries, ethereal warrior maidens galloping across the sky. The green and white flickers were said to be the gleam of their armour as they rode to escort fallen warriors to Odin's hall in Valhalla. Other Nordic tales suggested the northern lights were the breath of heroes who had perished in battle, or even the shimmering arch of the Bifrost Bridge linking Earth to the realm of the gods. Watching the aurora now, it's easy to feel how such mystical bridges and messengers could be seen in these lights. The way the curtains stretch and sway overhead, One can fancy that perhaps ghostly riders do fly just beyond the veil of night, leaving traces of light in their wake. Many indigenous peoples of North America also found benevolent meanings in the aurora. The Cree of Canada, for example, believed they were witnessing spirits of departed loved ones dancing in the sky. To them, the shimmering lights were not to be feared, but cherished, a sign that ancestors were celebrating and watching over the living. The Algonquin people imagined that their great creator, Nana Bojo, had built a comforting fire in the northern sky to remind his people that he watches over them from afar. In some Inuit traditions, the auroras were seen as playful souls. One charming tale describes the lights as spirits playing a game across the sky, tossing a glowing ball back and forth in joyous abandon. Standing under the aurora, one can feel the warmth of these interpretations, the sense of being connected to loved ones past and to friendly forces above. A particular poetic aurora myth stems from Finland, where it was believed that the light show was created by a magical fox darting across the snowy hills. As the fox ran, it swept up snow with its tail, sending sparks into the sky to ignite the aurora. The Finnish word for the northern lights, revontulet, translates as foxfires, preserving the image of that mythical creature. As we watch the aurora dance, it is easy to picture that enchanted fox racing beyond the horizon, its tail brushing the mountaintops and leaving trails of light in the sky. The foxfire's story lends the aurora an air of playful innocence, as though the lights were born from a mischievous joy bounding through the winter night. Even the name Aurora Borealis hints at how people long ago related these lights to everyday wonders. Aurora was the ancient Roman goddess of the dawn, rising each morning to herald the sunlight, and Boreas was the Greek name for the north wind. To the Romans and Greeks, an aurora in the northern night must have seemed like a strange false dawn, a colourful chariot of the dawn goddess appearing at an unexpected hour. It is intriguing that they associated the aurora with the beginning of a new day, even though the lights are typically seen in the deep of night. The idea of a dawn goddess painting the midnight sky captures the imagination, as if night itself could give birth to a new morning in its darkness. Not all aurora legends were about gods or spirits. Some were rooted in everyday hopes. Along the coasts of Scandinavia, auroras were welcomed by fishermen. They believed the lights were reflections from giant shoals of herring in the sea, meaning an abundant catch was near. For them, the green glow on the horizon promised good fortune and a generous harvest from the ocean. In Iceland, the northern lights were once thought to ease the pain of childbirth, a blessing in the sky to aid women in labour during long winter nights. However, expectant mothers were cautioned not to look directly at the lights, or folklore said their child might be born cross-eyed. With such gentle interpretations, the dancing lights became symbols of hope and comfort. We can imagine families generations ago looking up at an aurora with reassurance, believing it a sign that nature was offering them gifts and solace from above. And while we marvel at the northern lights, it's comforting to remember there is a twin phenomenon in the opposite hemisphere. The aurora australis, or southern lights, graces the skies over Antarctica and the far southern oceans. Few people live beneath those remote displays, but the lights dance there all the same in quiet solitude. Curtains of green and red shimmering above ice fields and lonely seas. Because fewer humans dwell under the auroral oval of the south, these lights are a more secret spectacle, reserved for penguins, wandering seabirds, and the handful of researchers wintering in Antarctica. Those who have witnessed the southern lights often speak of a profound tranquility under their ethereal glow, as if they were privy to a special performance given only in Earth's farthest, coldest reaches. In New Zealand and Tasmania, lucky skywatchers occasionally see the austral aurora as a rose and purple glow low on the horizon, a rare and precious sight. Even in our modern age, the aurora retains its aura of enchantment. People from all over the world journey northward or southward into long winter nights for the chance to stand beneath a dancing sky. They camp on frozen lakes or sail to high latitudes, watching and waiting in hopeful silence. When the heavens ignite with colour, these travellers fall as quiet and awestruck as the ancient observers of old. Under the rippling aurora, time seems to stop for everyone. In that shared wonder, strangers become companions, united by the nearly spiritual experience of witnessing nature's grand nocturnal ballet. After the lights fade, many struggle to find words. Conversations remain hushed and reverent, as if language itself falls short of the aurora's majesty. There is something inherently spiritual about the aurora's dance. Even those without a particular faith often describe a profound sense of the divine under an aurora-lit sky. It is as if the heavens open up for a moment and whisper secrets to anyone watching. Some people meditate beneath the aurora, finding that the shifting lights carry their worries away and fill them with calm. Others simply stand in reverence, tears in their eyes and a hand on their heart, moved beyond words. The experience transcends culture and language. It touches a deep part of the human spirit that recognizes beauty on an almost sacred level. In the quiet of such moments, one can sense how connected we are to the cosmos. The energy of the sun and the magnetism of the earth combine to create a silent symphony that our souls respond to. The aurora, in its silent eloquence, can feel like a bridge between the earthly and the divine, reminding us that we are part of a much larger story written in light. We can also picture the aurora from the deck of a gently rocking ship at sea. In high latitudes, sailors have often witnessed the northern lights dancing above dark waters. The waves below reflect faint traces of green, and cold spray dampens the air. Standing on deck, bundled against the chill, one could watch curtains of light rippling from horizon to horizon, their reflection shivering in the black ocean swells. The experience would be both humbling and comforting. The vast sea beneath and the boundless sky above, both alive with motion. Many a sailor in ages past must have leaned on the ship's rail in the midnight hour, entranced by the aurora's glow, and feeling that even in the remote emptiness of the ocean, they were not truly alone under such celestial beauty. Even astronauts, looking down from orbit, have been captivated by auroras. High above the Earth, they can see the broad auroral ovals glowing at the polar regions, ghostly rings of light encircling our planet's top and bottom. From space, the display is just as mesmerizing. Sometimes they watch great green curtains flowing beneath them, outlining Earth's curve. Astronauts who fly directly over an aurora gaze into its shimming peaks from above. They report seeing sheets of electric green and faint red light beneath their spacecraft, with the dark Pacific or polar ice caps far below and stars shining beyond. In the silence of space, the aurora's radiance is a wordless fireworks show, breathtaking even without sound. Many astronauts describe the sight as spiritual, a wordless hymn of light. Floating above, they are struck by the thinness of the atmosphere and the grace of this interaction between sun and earth. They often say that witnessing the aurora from space made them appreciate our planet's fragility and beauty even more. One can imagine drifting alongside them, watching our world don a crown of soft, glowing colours. In those moments, the unity of Earth and cosmos is unmistakable. A tiny planet wearing lights at its poles, drifting through the infinite night. Eventually, the celestial dance begins to slow and wane. The great ribbons of light grow fainter, retracting toward the horizon. Perhaps the sun's restless wind has calmed for now, or the approaching dawn is softly overpowering the delicate glimmer. Slowly, the flowing curtains grow more transparent, until finally the aurora melts back into the night, leaving only the eternal stars above. We remain still, speaking in hushed voices, if at all, as though unwilling to break the enchantment that still lingers in the air. In our hearts, we carry the soothing imprint of the aurora's presence, grateful for the calm it bestowed upon us. The sky is dark once more, save for the gentle band of the Milky Way stretching overhead. We breathe in the stillness left behind and lift our gaze higher, beyond Earth's atmosphere, toward that milky river of stars and the deep universe beyond. From the intimate wonder of auroras, we now journey outward into the vast chorus of starlight that fills the cosmos. The Milky Way arcs across the sky like a river of light. On a clear, moonless night, far from city lights, it appears as a diffuse milky band, sprinkled with countless stars and etched with dark, starless rifts. This pale arch has inspired wonder for as long as humans have had eyes to see it. It is our galaxy seen from within, the collective glow of billions of distant suns woven together. We stand under it in awe, recognizing it as the grand tapestry to which our sun and earth belong. It stretches from horizon to horizon, a gentle brushstroke of luminosity on the canvas of night. In our mind's eye, we drift upward now, lifting off from Earth and rising high above the plane of the Milky Way. The stars around us thin out until we can see the galaxy's vast shape revealed. Imagine floating far in space, looking back at our galaxy from a great distance. We behold a magnificent spiral slowly turning in the cosmic night. The Milky Way is like a giant whirlpool of starlight, with graceful spiral arms coiling out from a luminous central core. Each arm is sown with the glitter of uncountable stars, interlaced with misty clouds of gas and dust. From this perspective, the galaxy looks peaceful and unified, a single colossal organism glowing softly against the blackness. The central region of the Milky Way is a concentrated hub of light, golden and dense with ancient stars. Farther out, the spiral arms shine with younger, bluer stars that sparkle like cosmic dewdrops. Between the stars lie drifting lanes of dust, the same fine dust we saw up close in the nebula. From out here, those dust clouds trace elegant silhouettes through the starlight, forming dark ribbons that curve along the spiral arms. They are the reason we see gaps and shadows in the Milky Way band from Earth. These are cosmic clouds so thick with particles that they hide the stars behind them, creating apparent voids in the river of light. Yet we know within those obscuring shadows, new stars are taking shape, just as in the Orion Nebula we explored. Even the darkness in the Milky Way is pregnant with light yet to be. Enveloping the shining disk is a halo of globular clusters, ancient, densely packed spheres of stars orbiting the galaxy's center like far-flung lanterns. Each globular cluster contains hundreds of thousands of very old stars, many as old as the galaxy itself. They hang high above and below the galactic plane, slowly circling on solitary paths. If our eyes could see them all at once, they'd appear as a glittering wreath around the Milky Way, tiny beacons marking the galaxy's extended domain. In the stillness of intergalactic space, these clusters quietly persist, cosmic timekeepers from a primordial era shining faintly at the edge of our galactic home. Our Milky Way is immense beyond imagination. It spans about 100,000 light-years across, a distance so great that a beam of light would take 100 millennia to travel from one end to the other. Within this vast disk of stars, there may be a few 100 billion suns. We cannot truly grasp such numbers, but we don't need to. It is enough to feel the grandeur and realize that here, on a tiny planet orbiting one ordinary star, we are part of this glittering city of stars. The galaxy moves in almost imperceptible slow motion. It turns like a colossal clock, one rotation taking roughly 200 million years. In the hush of space, the Milky Way's rotation is a silent, stately waltz. It will continue long after we are gone, a persistent, gentle motion through eternity. Were we to stand on a planet near the galactic hub, our night sky would be awash in starlight. So many stars crowd the core that darkness itself would fade into a perpetual celestial twilight. The heavens would be aglow with countless distant suns in every direction. It would be a dazzling, gentle radiance overhead, a sky so rich with stars that familiar constellations would disappear amid the glitter. On such a world, one might never experience a truly dark night at all. The sky would be forever aglow with the collective light of the galactic heart. Between the stars and clusters is an almost perfect vacuum. Except for the sparse dust and gas, space itself carries on in silence. Even when stars explode in brilliant supernovas, from afar, it all unfolds in muted quiet, like fireworks blossoming in the vacuum of a vast cathedral. And holding this grand galactic structure together is something we cannot see. Astronomers tell us that an invisible halo of matter, dark matter they call it, envelops the galaxy. Though it emits no light and we cannot touch it, its gravity cradles the luminous disk of stars, keeping the Milky Way intact. It is a comforting thought in a way, an unseen, gentle force binding the stars together, like an invisible harmony ensuring the cosmic dance continues. This dark matter halo is one of the universe's many secrets, a silent partner to all the shining stars, as mysterious as a faint melody, sensed but not yet fully heard. And as magnificent as our Milky Way is, it is only one galaxy among countless others. Far beyond the borders of our galactic home, the universe extends as an open expanse scattered with island universes of every kind. There are spiral galaxies like our own, with coiling arms gracefully winding around a bright core. There are elliptical galaxies, shaped like soft glowing ellipses or spheres, as if a million fireflies were caught in a giant, diffuse ball of light. There are small, irregular galaxies, little clumps of stars with no defined form, like random smudges of light adrift in space. Each galaxy contains its own billions of stars, perhaps its own planets and wonders, separated from us by unfathomable gulfs of darkness. The nearest large galaxy to us is Andromeda, a spiral sister of the Milky Way. On a clear night in the northern hemisphere, Andromeda appears as a faint oval blur if you know just where to look, a ghost of light more than 2 million light-years away. Within that pale smudge lies another bustling metropolis of stars, perhaps not so different from our own, with its own nebulae and star clusters, and maybe planets bearing witness to their skies. Andromeda and the Milky Way are drifting toward each other through the darkness. In several billion years, far beyond any human timescale, They will meet and merge in a slow cosmic embrace, their stars mingling to form a new, larger galaxy. But to the stars themselves, even that grand event will feel serene and stately, unfolding over eons without so much as a single star colliding. The spaces between stars are that vast. It is a reminder that even apparently catastrophic events in the cosmos often happen with quiet grace, imperceptible on a human timescale. In the southern sky, our galaxy is accompanied by two small companions, known as the Magellanic Clouds, irregular dwarf galaxies drifting in our galactic neighborhood. To observers in Earth's southern hemisphere, they appear as faint, cloud-like smudges hanging in the starry sky. For millennia, people wondered about these misty patches of light. We now know they are collections of stars in their own right, satellite galaxies bound to the Milky Way. They carry their own clusters, nebulae, and starry tails, orbiting our galaxy like fireflies drawn to a larger flame. The sight of the Magellanic Clouds reminds us that even our galaxy has attendants, and that the tapestry of the night sky extends farther and in more layers than we might first assume. The universe's gallery of galaxies contains shapes almost too fanciful to believe. There is the Sombrero Galaxy, a distant spiral, seen edge-on, with a bold ring of dust around its middle, resembling a celestial broad-brimmed hat with a luminous brim. There is the Whirlpool Galaxy, Messier 51, a grand spiral gracefully swirled with well-defined arms, as if painted by a cosmic artist in strokes of blue and pink. We've observed galaxies in collision, their stars flung out into tidal streams that arc like gossamer bridges between merging galactic cores. We've seen ring-shaped galaxies that look like cosmic ripples on a pond, and tiny dwarf galaxies flickering like candles on the edges of space. Each new image of these island universes inspires wonder. Though separated by unimaginable distances, in our telescopes and minds, they become part of our familiar sky. Each one a flourishing garden of stars illuminating the darkness. By studying their shapes and light, we also learn our own galaxy's story, seeing in them reflections of the Milky Way's possible past or future. This rich diversity of galaxies is a reminder of the universe's endless creativity, a reassuring thought that there will always be more beauty to discover as we gaze deeper into the night. Galaxies, too, tend to gather in communities, much as stars gather in galaxies. Our Milky Way and Andromeda are part of a small cluster called the Local Group, gently bound by gravity across the void. And the Local Group, in turn, drifts within a larger collection, the Virgo Cluster, amid dozens of other galaxies. Even on these enormous scales, an intricate structure emerges. Galaxies link by the pull of gravity into filaments and clusters, threading through space like strands of a cosmic web. From afar, it might resemble the delicate pattern of foam or spider silk on a colossal scale, with galaxies as tiny glittering dewdrops along the threads. Between these glowing filaments lie immense voids, stretches of nearly complete emptiness where neither star nor galaxy shines, only the soft glow of distant light filtering through. This grand design, clusters and voids, filaments and vast dark spaces, is the scaffolding of the universe on its largest scales. When contemplated from a godlike vantage, it forms a picture of sublime balance and stillness, as if the cosmos itself were a work of art in still life. Starlight is also a messenger of time. When we peer at the faint glow of a distant galaxy, we are not seeing it as it is now, but as it was long ago. The light that reaches our eyes might have left that galaxy millions of years before our species had even learned to walk upright. In this way, the night sky is a natural time machine. Every glittering star is a memory. Every glowing nebula is an echo of a time long past. Even the gentle band of the Milky Way is filled with ancient light, some older than Earth itself. Yet, standing here under the stars, the distinction between past and present blurs. We feel connected to those far-off times, as if time bends into an eternal now beneath the canopy of the cosmos. In the silence of night, one can sense the deep history carried by each ray of starlight. It's a humbling thought that many of the stars we admire might have already changed or died, and we are seeing their past glow. Rather than sadness, this realization brings a sweet poignancy. The universe preserves the memory of its stars in their traveling light, allowing us to witness a tapestry woven across time. It reminds us that on the grandest scales, beginnings and endings flow together. The cosmos is ever-changing, yet in its vastness, nothing beautiful is truly lost. Its light endures, crossing the ages to fall gently on new worlds and new eyes. Let us indulge in another thought experiment. What if we continued our voyage, leaving the Milky Way behind and venturing across the intergalactic gulf to another galaxy? As we travel outward, our home galaxy would slowly shrink in our view, transforming into a hazy, glowing disk among countless others. We would drift through a profound darkness for a very long time, with only faint smatterings of distant starlight to guide us. After an unimaginable journey, a new spiral of stars would gradually come into focus ahead. Perhaps the Andromeda Galaxy, our neighbour. At first it might appear as a tiny, dim ellipse of light, then growing larger and more magnificent as we approach. We would see great spiral arms unfurling, filled with blue clusters and gauzy nebulae, and a bright core where innumerable suns swarm. Drawing nearer, we might skirt the edges of one of those spiral arms, feeling almost at home among the new stars. Andromeda's starlight would surround us, a mirror to our own Milky Way's beauty. Looking back, we'd see the two galaxies, the Milky Way behind us, Andromeda before us, as separate islands of light afloat in a vast dark ocean. It's humbling to imagine, and yet strangely comforting too. Every galaxy we could ever reach would offer a familiar kind of splendor, with stars, and perhaps life of its own. The universe, vast as it is composed of countless variations on these luminous havens, separated by quiet voids. Journeying from one to another in our imagination, we feel both the true scale and the unity of it all. Each galaxy, a verse in the endless cosmic song. Galaxies are not static. All are carried along by the slow expansion of the universe itself. Over incomprehensible spans of time, space stretches like the surface of a balloon inflating, pushing galaxies ever farther apart. It's as if the cosmos is breathing out, and with each gentle breath, the distances between galaxies grow. We cannot feel this expansion in our daily lives, but astronomers detect it in the light of far galaxies, which arrives subtly altered, stretched toward the red, after its long journey through expanding space. In the far future, galaxies now visible to us will drift beyond our sight, taking their splendors into the void. Yet in this era, we are fortunate to witness the universe brimming with galaxies on all sides. The expansion is slow and patient. a subtle backdrop to the cosmic drama. Picturing it, we might imagine ourselves afloat on a calm cosmic sea that is gradually widening, each galaxy an illuminated boat carried outward on leisurely swells. There is no rush. The pace is glacial and graceful. Knowing this incites no anxiety, only a deeper sense of the grandeur of time and space. The universe evolves in majestic silence. We are brief passengers, given a window to watch the panorama of creation unfolding. That too is comforting. The cosmos grows and changes, yet it does so with such elegance and vastness that our place within it, here and now, is a uniquely tranquil moment in an ever-unfolding story. The universe's darkness itself holds a gentle secret. Even in the emptiest reaches of space, there is a faint light, not the light of any star or galaxy, but a diffuse afterglow of the universe's own birth. Astronomers call it the cosmic microwave background, a quiet whisper of heat left from the dawn of time, now cooled and stretched thin across the cosmos. It is too faint for our eyes to see or our skin to feel, but it bathes the entire universe uniformly. This dim backdrop is the oldest light we know, a relic of when the universe was newborn and filled with a warm radiance. Over billions of years, it has faded to almost nothing, a mere few degrees above absolute zero. Yet it's everywhere, silently testifying to the universe's beginnings. If we could tune our senses to it, we would perceive space not as pitch black, but as having a very soft glow, the last tender ember of a cosmic fire long cooled. There is something deeply comforting about this. The darkness between the stars is not truly empty, but gently lit by the memory of creation. Even the void is not void at all, but carries an echo of light, a promise that the cosmos remembers its origins. When we gaze into the night, we are bathing in that ancient light without even knowing it, like a subtle cosmic lullaby, always humming in the background of existence. Knowing all this fills our quiet contemplation with a profound sense of belonging. When we gaze up at the Milky Way on a clear night, we are not outsiders looking in. We are at home. That band of light is our extended family of stars. Those nebulae are our ancient nurseries. The iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the carbon in every cell, all were forged in long-vanished stars and scattered through space before finding their way here. In a very literal sense, the universe is within us, and we are within it. This realization doesn't overwhelm us. It comforts us, like discovering a truth we always suspected. We are connected to the depths of time and space. We have an intimate bond with the heavens above. This perspective can be profoundly calming. When we recognize our place among the stars, the ordinary worries of life on Earth seem to gently fall away. In the face of cosmic distances and eons, our day-to-day anxieties feel smaller, lighter, like small clouds passing under a vast sky. There is a liberating peace in this realization. We are part of something so much greater, and that connection cradles us when we feel alone or burdened. As we drift in thought among the galaxies, we can release our troubles into the cosmic expanse, letting them dissipate into the great silence. What remains is tranquility, a lightness of spirit that comes from knowing we belong to the universe, and the universe holds us in its quiet embrace. In this state of cosmic awe, our hearts and minds find rest, soothed by the understanding that we are both tiny and irreplaceable threads in the fabric of all that exists. Perhaps now we can picture ourselves back on Earth, lying on a soft patch of grass on a mild summer night, far from any city. Above us arches the Milky Way, a river of stars flowing across the sky. Crickets chirp in the warm darkness. A gentle breeze brushes our skin. We breathe slowly, in sync with the peaceful rhythm of the night. As we gaze upward, countless stars twinkle, and the Milky Way's pale glow beckons our eyes to wander its length. A shooting star silently streaks by, briefly etching a line of light overhead. We feel completely at ease, connected to this night and to the cosmos beyond. Every star above seems like a friendly presence. In this moment, nothing exists but our relaxed body on the cool earth and the infinite sky embracing us. Time seems to pause. We could be ancient travelers or our present selves. It doesn't matter, for under the stars, all who look up share the same wonder. We close our eyes for a moment and still see the imprint of the Milky Way behind our eyelids, as if its gentle glow has left a reassuring memory inside us. When we open our eyes again, the sky remains as tranquil and beautiful as before, a cosmic panorama watching over us. In this serenity, we know that we are home in the universe. We carry this calm as a gift from the stars. One comforting thought is that through our curiosity and intelligence, the universe is coming to know itself. We who gaze at nebulae, auroras, and galaxies are made of the same star stuff we observe. It's as if the cosmos, in us, has opened its eyes to its own beauty. For countless generations, humans have felt the pull of the stars, told stories about them, and sought to understand them. In doing so, we've forged a connection that spans light years and ages. The awe we feel is the universe's gift to us, and our gift in return is our attention and wonder. In a way, when we marvel at the Milky Way or a glowing nebula, the universe is marveling at itself through our eyes. That unity between observer and observed brings another layer of peace. We are not separate from these wonders, but an integral part of them, capable of reflecting and feeling gratitude. Every quiet night of stargazing is a gentle conversation with the cosmos, one that has been ongoing since the first humans looked up and will continue as long as there are eyes to see and hearts to wonder. As we drift in the vast darkness, we come to appreciate that the dark is not merely an absence. It is the gentle canvas upon which all cosmic light is painted. Without night, the stars would not dazzle. Without the void, the galaxies would have no stage on which to perform their slow dance. The silence and darkness of space are comforting in their own way, a soft cradle that holds everything we have seen. Just as deep night on Earth brings rest and renewal, the cosmic night seems to cradle the universe, allowing its wonders to shine. There is nothing to fear in this darkness. It is calm, patient, and infinite. It gives the stars their contrast, and the soul a sense of peace. Travelling through it, one feels a profound serenity, as if wrapped in a velvety blanket dotted with lights. This darkness is the backdrop of creation, a necessary hush that lets the cosmic symphony be heard. Our journey through these cosmic scenes is far from over. As we float here, cradled by starlight, we sense that the universe holds countless more mysteries and wonders quietly in store. In the distance, there are enigmas we have yet to explore. perhaps bottomless cosmic wells where even light is trapped, or the faint glow left from creation's first dawn. Realms where the unknown patiently awaits our curious eyes. Buoyed by what we have seen so far, we allow ourselves to drift onward, ever so gently, into the next chapter of this endless exploration. The cosmic night is vast and inviting, and we continue forward, calm and unhurried, into the awaiting deep, under a sky of endless stars. In the quiet expanse of night, a lone ship of star mariners sails beyond the edges of our solar system. We drift further from the sun, leaving the familiar planets behind like distant lanterns fading in the dark. The cosmic ocean around us is vast and silent, speckled with countless stars that shimmer like city lights on a faraway shore. In this endless sea of night, we carry the dreams of humanity with us, venturing into realms unknown, guided only by the gentle light of ancient suns. Beyond the edge of our solar system, we cross an invisible boundary where the sun's influence gives way to the true deep. Here, our ship enters the realm of interstellar space. There is a quiet awe in this crossing. We imagine the pioneering probes that came before us, now far ahead, silent ambassadors drifting endlessly. At the threshold of interstellar space, we encounter a small traveler from an earlier time. It is Voyager 1, one of humanity's first emissaries to the cosmos, launched back in the 20th century. Now it floats quietly, its instruments long silent, a tiny metal relic carrying a golden record of Earth. We slow our ship to match its pace and take a moment to reflect. Through our window, we see Voyager's faint outline against the starry backdrop. A brave little craft that ventured out alone when no person could. In this moment, we feel a kinship across time with those who sent it. Decades ago, people looked up and dreamed, and Voyager was the proof of their hope. We gently salute this ancient explorer as we pass by, honouring its journey and the message it bears. Then we move onward, letting Voyager continue its endless voyage into the stars, carrying our greeting like a firefly in the night. The encounter reminds us that we are not the first to dream of the stars, and it inspires us to carry that legacy forward. Our vessel glides in a weightless ballet, moving gracefully through the void. There is no wind here, no waves, only the faint pressure of starlight and the solar wind pushing against our ship. We imagine great shimmering sails unfurling, catching the subtle breeze of particles and photons that stream from the sun. Like mariners of old harnessing the wind, we harness the energy of distant suns to carry us onward. Every so often, a dusting of interstellar particles pats the hull, a reminder that even in emptiness, we are not completely alone. The farther we travel, the smaller our sun appears behind us, a pale star among millions. Turning back, we see the entire history of home reduced to a tiny point of light. Yet ahead lies infinity. We move with both courage and serenity, our hearts calm as we pass into the unknown. The darkness between stars is not frightening now. It feels peaceful, a deep and velvety dusk stretching on forever. Surrounded by a universe of possibilities, we let our thoughts wander as freely as our ship travels, pondering the wonders that await beyond the next star. Every night out here, the Milky Way itself is our constant companion. Free from Earth's atmosphere and lights, we see our home galaxy in breathtaking clarity. It stretches across the darkness as a gauzy river of stars. Billions of distant suns, twinkling collectively like a soft, white glow. We often pause to admire this celestial ribbon. It reminds us that even as we wander far, we remain within our galaxy's embrace. The Milky Way's gentle light guides us, a familiar band in the alien sky, connecting us to every star we have left behind and every new star we approach. Under its diffuse glow, we never feel truly alone. Each star we approach greets us with new light. We navigate by their gentle glimmer, much as ancient sailors once navigated by the constellations. In the distance, nebulas bloom like cosmic reefs, clouds of colourful gas and dust where new stars are being born. The star mariners adjust their course, drawn towards these stellar nurseries out of curiosity and wonder. Even from afar, we can sense the creation happening there. Stars igniting into life, planets coalescing in swirling disks, the cycle of cosmic birth unfolding in silence. It reminds us that we are part of this grand continuum, our journey a small thread in the tapestry of the universe. One day, our journey carries us through the outskirts of a nebula, a vast, diffuse cloud of gas and dust adrift between the stars. We gently navigate into this region, and a faint, luminous mist surrounds the ship. Outside our viewports, tendrils of pale blue and rose-coloured light glimmer in the darkness. The nebula's glow subtle but enchanting. We dim the ship's lights to let the cosmic glow wash over the interior. It feels as if we are floating through an ethereal ocean. In this tranquil cloud, we sense the cradle of future stars. The very dust around us will someday gather and ignite into new suns. Particles ping softly against the hull, harmless and sparse, like gentle rain on a window. Floating through this embryonic stellar nursery, we are filled with reverence, witnessing creation in its quiet infancy. Time loses its usual meaning out here. Days and nights are counted not by any rising sun, but by the gentle rhythms of our own bodies and the clock of the ship. We sleep and wake to the glow of distant galaxies through the viewports. Sometimes we gather to simply watch the stars drift by, like sitting on a tranquil beach, watching waves. In the quiet, we speak softly of Earth, of blue skies, of green forests, of familiar moonlit nights. Those memories become stories that warm us, small campfires of the mind that keep the loneliness of deep space at bay. One evening, the crew gathers in the observation dome for a shared moment of remembrance. With the stars all around us, one of our crew begins to softly describe a dawn back on Earth she once experienced. We all listen in calm silence as she paints the scene. A quiet lake at misty daybreak, the sky turning from deep blue to pale gold, the chorus of birds awakening in the nearby trees. She recalls how the first rays of the sun touched the still water, creating a path of light across it. In that memory, we can almost feel the cool morning air and hear the gentle rustling of leaves. Her voice is hushed and filled with longing, but also with gratitude for having witnessed such beauty. As she finishes her story, a peaceful hush remains among us. For a moment, it's as if we are there by that lakeside, bathed in the warmth of an Earth sunrise. We carry that solace with us as we drift back to our duties, our hearts a little less lonely in the dark. The crew of our cosmic ship shares an unspoken bond. We feel it each time we gaze outward together, each time a collective breath catches at a new spectacle. A comet with a shining tail grazing past, or the ghostly glow of a far-off galaxy few have ever seen. In these moments, we know we are not just explorers, but pilgrims of a sort, carrying with us the hopes and curiosities of countless souls back home. Every star we see could be someone's sun. Every stretch of darkness is an invitation to fill it with our imagination. So we press on, hearts steady, minds open. On long voyages like this, we find comfort in small, familiar rituals. Sometimes one of us takes out a small flute and plays a gentle melody in the observation deck, letting the notes drift into the air. The music is soft and haunting, blending with the silence of space beyond our walls. In those moments, we close our eyes and simply listen. The delicate tune makes the stars outside feel even closer, as if they too are listening in the quiet. In the weightlessness, a few water droplets float and glint like tiny stars as someone quietly strums a guitar, each chord slow and soothing. These creative moments weave a sense of home aboard our ship. Music, art, and memory become threads that connect us to our humanity, even as we travel far from everything we know. They remind us that while we voyage among alien stars, our hearts carry the warmth of home, giving us strength and solace. Sometimes, when the ship's lights are dimmed and most of the crew sleeps, a lone traveller stands at the observation window. They watch the universe in its quiet majesty, feeling at once small and profoundly connected to everything. In the silent language of stars, they find comfort, a gentle assurance that we belong, that we have a place even in the vast unknown. As we sail further, we carry that comfort with us. Ahead, perhaps at the next star, new horizons await, worlds that no human eye has ever seen. With calm anticipation, the star mariners voyage on, ready to greet whatever lies beyond the darkness. At last, our journey brings us to the neighbourhood of a distant star. The star mariners peer ahead at a tiny orb illuminated by its sun, a new world slowly coming into view. It feels like approaching a new island after weeks at sea. Excitement hums quietly through the crew, but we remain calm and observant. This planet is a jewel set against the blackness, painted in subtle hues by its atmosphere and clouds. We drift into orbit gently, letting our ship become a silent moon to this unexplored world. Below us stretches an alien landscape, waiting in eternal twilight for its first visitors from another star. This world below is unlike Earth, yet beautiful in its own alien way. Broad swathes of violet-coloured vegetation blanket its continents, adapting to the light of a dim crimson sun. Silvery lakes catch the weak daylight and glint softly. We watch wisps of mist swirl in deep valleys and unusual cloud patterns drifting over distant mountains. Everything is quiet and slow from up here, a silent movie playing out on an unknown stage. We wonder what it would feel like to walk on that surface, to breathe its air, if only for a moment. For now, we remain observers, content to marvel at the scene unfolding beneath us. After careful observation from orbit, we send a small probe down to touch the surface. It drifts through the violet-tinged clouds in a slow, spiraling descent. The atmosphere is calm. Gentle winds carry strange floral scents. When the probe settles onto a clearing amid the alien vegetation, its camera shows us a quiet tableau. Tall, fern-like plants swaying softly despite the perpetual dawn, and a pale sky with a faint crimson sun fixed low on the horizon. We imagine ourselves walking there, the soft ground yielding slightly underfoot, each step guided by curiosity and respect. Though we remain aboard our ship, through the eyes of our probe, we feel connected to this new world. For a moment, we are explorers on an alien meadow, marveling at the beauty of a place no human has ever been before. Our instruments search for signs of the familiar amid the unfamiliar. We find a thin band of atmosphere and traces of water vapor. Perhaps in those violet forests below, something stirs. An animal calls out in a language we cannot hear, or tiny creatures swim in those silver lakes. Or perhaps this world is young and quiet, its life not yet awakened. The possibilities make us smile softly. Even if we never set foot here, just knowing it exists enriches us. We add this world story to our collection of cosmic memories. With a gentle farewell, we prepare to continue onward, our minds already dreaming of what other worlds might lie ahead. As our ship slips away from the planet, we gaze back one last time at its swirling clouds and coloured lands. Around this one star, there could be several more planets, each with its own character. We imagine them in turn. Perhaps a small cratered rock closer in, barren and sun-baked, or a giant gas world farther out, adorned with icy rings and moons like a miniature solar system. Every star in the sky likely hosts its own family of worlds. Some might be lifeless rocks, others lush gardens, and many no doubt beyond anything we can conceive. The universe seems to overflow with these possibilities, sparking our curiosity like lanterns lighting up a dark forest path. We recall that back on Earth, astronomers have discovered thousands upon thousands of such planets from afar. At first, those discoveries were just faint dimmings of starlight or subtle wobbles of a star, tiny hints that planets were there. Over the years, those hints became confirmed worlds, and our catalogue of new planets kept growing. Thinking of it now, we feel a connection to all those distant places. Each point of light in the night sky holds the potential of new horizons. Even before we ever came out here, humanity had already begun the journey in our imaginations, naming and studying these unseen lands with wonder. Our thoughts drift to some of the most fanciful realms that might exist. We imagine a planet completely covered in a global ocean, where gentle waves roll endlessly under an eternal mist, and bioluminescent creatures light up the depths like stars in the sea. We see another world, with majestic rings adorning its skies. At night, those rings span the heavens in silvery arcs, casting dreamy reflections on the clouds below. And on a far-off super-Earth, perhaps the very air comes alive in colour each evening with perpetual auroras, celestial lights dancing across the horizon in ribbons of green and blue. We envision a desert planet of red sands with twin suns. When one sun sets, the other still hangs low, so the land is bathed in a double dusk. Two overlapping shadows stretching over the dunes. On a volcanic moon orbiting a giant planet, we picture geysers and glowing lava painting the night sky, plumes gently rising and falling like a slow cosmic fountain. There might even be a world nestled in the heart of a dense star cluster, where the sky is so crowded with stars that darkness barely exists. Night becomes a sapphire twilight filled with innumerable twinkling lights. Venturing further into speculation, we consider a planet orbiting a pulsar, a neutron star flashing like a cosmic lighthouse. Life under that flickering sky would face challenges, but perhaps it could adapt in ways beyond our imagination, resting in the brief calm between each pulse of energy. And finally, we dream of a tidally locked world, forever divided between light and dark, with a narrow band of eternal sunrise encircling it. Along that line of perpetual dawn, the sky glows in a gentle amber, and the sun hovers eternally at the horizon. In that world of endless morning, day and night, find a perfect, quiet balance. Each of these envisioned places, whether serene or extreme, expands our sense of what is possible in the universe. As these visions fill our minds, the line between what is real and what is imagined blurs in a comforting way. In the vast darkness, our dreams of other worlds become like guiding stars themselves. We carry those dreams with us as gentle companions on the long journey. Each imagined world teaches us something about the universe and about ourselves, our endless curiosity, our capacity for wonder. With hearts full of new possibilities, we continue our voyage among the stars, eager to chase the next dawn that breaks over an undiscovered horizon. Before we depart this star system completely, we take the opportunity to visit one of its outer giants. This planet is a gas world much larger than Earth, with magnificent rings encircling its equator. As we draw closer, the rings resolve into countless chunks of ice and rock, each reflecting the sunlight. They glisten like 1 billion diamonds set in a disk, stretching wide and thin. We guide our ship gently above the ring plane, watching the bands of icy particles beneath us form graceful patterns. The gas giant itself is a stunning sight, swirled with bands of white, teal, and purple clouds, dancing around a great calm eye of a storm. Dozens of moons orbit this leviathan. Some are cratered and ancient, others are sheathed in ice that sparkles like glass. We drift just outside the giant's atmosphere, feeling its immense gravity subtly tug at our ship, a silent reminder of the planet's power. We linger for a while in this wonderland of rings and moons, savouring the silence and majesty. Then, with one last look at the jewel-like planet, we set our course for interstellar space once more, carrying its image with us. Imagine standing at the twilight edge of an alien world, where the sun never fully rises nor completely sets. The sky above is painted in perpetual dawn, soft golds and gentle purples blending in an endless mural of morning light. You stand on a landscape cast in long shadows that never shorten or stretch, frozen in an eternal sunrise. The air is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of unknown blooms that open forever to the half-light. There is a profound tranquility here. Time itself seems paused at the break of day, as if the world is holding its breath in anticipation of a morning that never quite arrives. On one side of you, toward the sun, the land glows in warm hues, illuminated by a star that hovers perpetually at the horizon. On the other side, behind you, the landscape fades into dim starlit night. If you walk toward the light, each step brings a slightly brighter hue, but true noon never comes. If you walk toward the darkness, the sky slowly deepens into night, yet a sliver of daylight always remains behind you. Between day and night lies this band of eternal twilight, a place of balance. Here, the ground is neither scorched by endless day nor frozen by endless night. It is a realm of soft, everlasting dawn, a refuge between extremes. All around, the landscape basks in the everlasting glow. Perhaps there are dewdrops clinging to alien flowers that never dry, sparkling perpetually in the low light. A gentle river might wind through the twilight plains, its surface forever painted in the amber hues of morning. No harsh noon comes to burn away the mist. The world remains in a soft, waking dream. Under this endless dawn sky, every colour is gentle, every shadow is patient. It is a world that seems made for reflection and calm. In this perpetual sunrise, shadows lie long and calm, pointing silently toward the west, where night reigns. Stars emerge even in daylight on the darker side of the sky, faint and patient. Perhaps life has found a foothold here, adapting to the unchanging glow. You can almost imagine gentle creatures stirring under the dim forests, guiding their lives by a sun that neither rises nor sets. In the never-ending morning, birds might sing an endless dawn chorus, and nocturnal beings might wander near the edges of night. There is a gentle rhythm here still, perhaps marked by subtle changes in the star's colour or tiny shifts in the breeze. But it is a rhythm that spans ages. To witness such an eternal sunrise is to experience a living poem of time and light. It reminds us that what we consider normal, day turning to night and night to day, is not a universal truth, but a quirk of our own planet's rotation. Elsewhere, nature finds different harmonies. Some worlds spin so slowly that one day can last a year. On others, twin suns may ensure that night never falls at all. And then there are places like this, paused in a tranquil balance. Each variation is a reminder of the endless creativity of the cosmos. No two worlds offer the same song, yet each can be beautiful in its own way. Even within our own solar system, dawn can take on extraordinary forms. On Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun, a single day lasts much longer than its year. If an observer could stand on Mercury's barren surface, they would see the Sun creep slowly up, then strangely pause, and even move backward a little before continuing its rise. Mercury's peculiar dance with the Sun creates a sunrise that lasts for weeks, a stop-and-start progression of dawn that ancient sky watchers could hardly have imagined. Though Mercury's landscape is stark and silent, one could witness there a sunrise performance unlike any other, a reminder that each world has its own unique rhythm of light and dark. We also think about sunrises closer to home. Orbiting Earth, an astronaut sees the Sun peek over the horizon every 90 minutes, turning darkness to light in a swift, regular cadence. On our world's poles, there are seasons when the Sun circles the horizon, casting a perpetual sunrise or sunset that lingers for weeks. The universe provides endless variations on this theme of light and dark. Even on the grandest scales, new stars are born out of cosmic night, each ignition a kind of sunrise in the galaxy. In distant nebulae, we can imagine the glow of newborn stars gradually brightening the clouds around them, a dawn on a timescale of millions of years. In the heart of every sunrise, eternal or fleeting, lies a promise of illumination, of warmth after cold, and light after darkness. It is hope made visible. As we soak in the gentle radiance of this everlasting dawn, we feel inspired. That lingering light on the horizon calls us forward, deeper into the cosmos. We turn our face to that eternal morning light and imagine unfurling delicate sails to catch its rays, letting it carry us onward in our journey. In the glow of an eternal sunrise, we dream of riding on beams of starlight themselves, ready to explore even beyond the horizons we see now. High above a golden sunrise on some distant world, we unfurl a sail as thin as a whisper. It billows outward, not with wind, but under the gentle pressure of starlight itself. This is the dream of light sails, ships that fly on beams of light, propelled by the very illumination that gives life. Our vessel now resembles a cosmic butterfly, its gossamer wings catching the rays of a sun. Slowly, silently, the light begins to push us, and we glide forward, leaving the twilight world behind. There is no rumble of engines, no burning fuel, only the quiet, constant caress of light guiding us through space. At first, the motion is almost imperceptible. The push of light is delicate, like a soft breeze against our sail. But unlike a gust of wind that comes and goes, this pressure is steady and eternal as long as the sun shines behind us. Hour by hour, day by day, our speed grows. In the silence, we feel ourselves accelerating, drifting faster than any sailing ship on Earth ever could. The distances are vast, but so is our patience. We know that even a gentle push can carry us to unimaginable far shores if we simply allow it time. The journey itself becomes a meditation, a slow, persistent progress through the stars. We remember how ancient explorers once gazed at billowing canvas sails catching the wind, setting off into unknown oceans. Now we are their spiritual kin. But our ocean is the cosmos, and our sails catch sunlight. It feels like a natural evolution of an old, bold idea. The same sun that once carried wooden ships across terrestrial seas now propels our spacecraft across the interstellar deep. And it's not only our sun. Every star out there pours light into the void. Each could become a beacon and a harbour, its light a gentle wind for future travellers. With a sail and a dream, even the faint glow of a distant star can become an engine for discovery. Already, back near our home, a few brave little sails have spread their wings. In recent years, tiny spacecraft, no larger than a loaf of bread, have deployed gleaming sails in the sunlight. They moved slowly but surely, proving that this gentle propulsion is more than mere fantasy. These early experiments are like the first small boats testing the shoreline waters, a prelude to the great voyages that one day may depart for the stars. Watching their progress from afar, we feel a swell of anticipation. It is as if we can glimpse a future where larger ships, perhaps even crewed by dreamers, will follow that path of light across the sea of night. We imagine entire fleets of light sail ships departing from Earth, their mirror-like sails catching the sunlight as they climb away from our planet. From the ground, they might look like slowly moving stars, or shimmering petals carried into the heavens. Each one could be a messenger, a probe destined for a far-off world, or even a vessel carrying explorers in a state of dreamful sleep, waiting to awaken at journey's end. They drift out of Earth's embrace one by one, gathering speed as they spread their silvery wings in the sunlight. In our mind's eye, it's a peaceful exodus, a gentle and hopeful one, like dandelion seeds floating on a summer breeze, each carrying the potential for new life on distant soils. Some visionaries imagine taking the concept further, using concentrated laser beams to drive sails to incredible speeds. In that scenario, an array of powerful lasers could shine upon a sail across vast distances, pushing it faster and faster. A tiny probe might accelerate to a significant fraction of the speed of light, crossing interstellar space within a human lifetime. We envision a brief, brilliant flash as the lasers ignite, and then a glimmering speck darting off into the darkness, carrying our inquisitive spirit with it. Even this high-tech variation feels serene in its own way. A beam of light, a delicate sail catching that energy, and a craft silently slipping between the stars. In this manner, the gulf between suns could be bridged in decades rather than centuries. Somewhere far ahead, perhaps decades into the future, one of these light sail ships will reach another star. We can picture it slowing itself by angling its sail, or perhaps relying on the light of the new sun to gently break. It arrives quietly, coasting into a new solar system without a sound. What a moment that would be! A craft from Earth gliding into orbit around an alien sun, bridging the gulf between civilizations with nothing but a whisper of light. In that moment, the distance between stars would feel just a little less insurmountable, and the dreams of those who launched that sail would be fulfilled in the softest, most graceful way. Yet even before such ships arrive, we have found other ways to cross the void, with light alone. For a sail is not the only messenger riding on beams across the darkness. Every signal we send, every radio whisper or pulse of laser light, is also a traveller through the cosmic sea. In many ways, the first interstellar voyages were not made of metal or cloth, but of information and hope, riding on waves of light that spread out in all directions. The dream of light sails flows naturally into the dream of communicating with the stars, of sending our greetings and stories across vast distances, hoping someone or something might hear us in the endless night. Long before we ever set sail among the stars, we sent our voices ahead of us. In the mid-20th century, as radio technology blossomed on Earth, our planet began leaking a faint, spherical shell of signals into space. Old television broadcasts, radio songs, and news bulletins, all these electromagnetic whispers have been traveling outward at the speed of light, spreading our presence into the cosmos. We often muse on this. Somewhere, decades from now in the void, a distant point in space will encounter the first murmurs of Earth's broadcasts. Perhaps an old jazz melody or a snippet of a comedy show's dialogue is out there now, traversing the silence between stars. Even if no one is there to hear it, the idea of our culture drifting through the galaxy like an ever-expanding bubble is a poetic thought. Even if only the stars and nebulae witness our greetings, it feels right to speak, to reach out beyond our solitude. Every message sent is like lighting a small beacon in a vast wilderness, an act of faith that somewhere out there, intelligence might answer with a light of its own. Beyond these unintentional signals, we have also deliberately reached out. Once, we aimed a powerful radio message at a distant star cluster, a coded beacon describing who we are, sent toward a globular cluster far beyond our reach. We knew it would take tens of thousands of years to arrive, and perhaps the same to get a reply, if one ever comes. But still, we sent it, a moment of optimism etched in binary code. Aboard the Voyager spacecraft, we placed a golden record filled with the sounds of Earth, music from different cultures, the laughter of a baby, the chirping of crickets, greetings in many languages. We launched it into the cosmic ocean, a message in a bottle cast into the interstellar sea, hoping that someday someone might find it and understand who sent it. On that golden record, we tried to capture the essence of our world in a cosmic time capsule. There are greetings spoken in dozens of human languages, from ancient Akkadian to modern English, each saying hello on behalf of Earth. There is music, classical melodies, folk songs, even the cheerful beat of rock and roll, carrying a sense of our art and emotion. The record holds the sound of wind and rain, the chirping of birds, the heartbeat of a mother, and the laughter of children. There are pictures encoded too, images of our planet's landscapes, our animals and humans, our cities, and our humble place in the cosmos. We wanted whoever finds it to know that we felt wonder and curiosity, that we reached out with goodwill and a wish to share our story. We launched this little time capsule, knowing it may drift for millions of years before ever being found, if at all. In sending it, we declared something profound, that we are here, and we want to be known. It was a crystal of hope, sent sailing into the night. There is something profoundly touching about these interstellar messages. They are a testament to hope and curiosity. We know the distances are immense, and the odds of receiving a response are slim. Yet we continue to send hellos into the dark. It is our way of saying, we are here, and we wonder if you are too. In that act, we proclaim our willingness to connect, to learn, and to not be alone. Each such message is like a small light in the cosmic dark, a beacon of our presence, and an invitation to dialogue, however distant and delayed that conversation might be. We also listen for replies, or for voices not our own. For decades, giant radio dishes have scanned the heavens, straining to catch a whisper from distant worlds. Most of the time we hear only the hum of cosmic noise, the hiss of particles, the song of stars, the faint static of the Big Bang's afterglow. But once in a while, a signal stands out. One famous evening, a strong, unexplained burst of radio waves briefly emerged from the constellation Sagittarius. It was unlike anything we usually pick up, and for a moment, hearts around the world imagined it could be someone calling out to us. That signal, however, vanished as mysteriously as it came, never to repeat, leaving us with tantalizing uncertainty. Was it just an unusual natural phenomenon, or a cosmic hello that we happened to overhear? The mystery lingers, and with it lingers a sense of wonder. We sometimes wonder, what of those who might have sent messages long before we could? What of civilizations that may have risen in ages past, their voices now faint or silent? In the silence between the stars, we ponder the echoes of lost civilizations and the galactic myths they may have left behind. Sometimes, we allow ourselves to daydream about receiving an answer. What if, one quiet night, amid the familiar static of the sky, a clear, structured signal arrived at our listening stations? We imagine the moment, a series of pulses or tones that undeniably carry the mark of intelligence, a simple mathematical sequence perhaps, or a pattern too orderly to be natural. Upon realizing its significance, our hearts would swell with a mix of joy and reverence. Across Earth, people would pause to listen, united by the knowledge that we are no longer alone. We would send back our reply, our voices trembling with excitement, yet soft with respect. Even without meeting face to face, two civilizations light years apart would share a brief conversation across the void, a gentle greeting in the dark that affirms companionship in the universe. Just the thought of that possibility brings a hopeful warmth to our quest, making the vast emptiness feel not so lonely after all. As we search the stars for company, we cannot help but wonder about civilizations that may have come and gone in the deep past. The galaxy is billions of years old, ample time for empires to rise and fall long before our sun even existed. If such ancient peoples ever lit their beacons, built shining cities on far-off worlds, or sailed between stars, what traces would remain now? Perhaps a lonely planet, with ruins half buried in cosmic dust circles a forgotten sun, its builders long vanished. or a faint, persistent radio signal repeats from a distant corner of the galaxy, an automated beacon still dutifully broadcasting long after its creators are gone. These possibilities stir our imagination, weaving ghostly legends of the cosmos. What if, one day in the far future, we actually stumble upon evidence of those ancient ones? Perhaps an explorer will set foot on an alien shore and find the remnants of a city long abandoned, its crumbled towers entwined with strange vines under a foreign sun. In the quiet streets of that ghost city, the explorer might sense the presence of those who came before, as if the very stones whisper their story. Or maybe, drifting through space, we might intercept a derelict ship coasting for millennia, a technological ghost vessel carrying clues of its long-lost makers. These scenarios may sound like fantasy now, but they remind us that the unknown isn't empty. It's filled with potential stories waiting to be discovered. If such a discovery ever comes, it would turn our cosmic myths into history, and we would find ourselves learning from the echoes of those ancient travelers. Without evidence, these ideas live in the realm of myth and speculation, yet they give us a sense of kinship with the unknown. We picture grand alien civilizations that perhaps once thrived, cultures that mapped the spiral arms of the galaxy, poets who composed epics under alien constellations, philosophers who contemplated the same questions we do about existence and destiny. We imagine their triumphs and challenges, perhaps not so different from our own. Did they face crises and overcome them? Did they learn to live in harmony with their worlds? Or did some falter and fade away, leaving only quiet planets and silent artifacts drifting through space? Our own night sky is rich with the myths of our ancestors. The patterns of stars became stories of heroes and gods, of great journeys and moral lessons. In a similar way, we cast our hopes and fears onto the canvas of the galaxy. Modern myths take shape in our science fiction tales of galactic federations or ancient starfarers. These stories, though invented, reflect a deep truth. We feel the emptiness of the cosmic ocean and yearn to fill it with companionship and meaning. Even the idea of distant, wise beings watching over us, or primordial civilizations seeding life across the stars, brings comfort and wonder. Sometimes the universe teases us with enigmas that ignite talk of lost civilizations. A strangely dimming star, far away, makes us speculate about colossal structures orbiting it, as if someone tried to capture a star's energy with a megastructure. A peculiar interstellar object tumbles through our solar system, and we wonder if it might have been a derelict probe or a fragment of an alien craft. Science eventually finds natural explanations, but for a while, our minds dance with the more romantic possibility that we've glimpsed another civilization's handiwork. These moments are like cosmic fairy tales, momentarily bridging reality and imagination. In truth, the silence we hear could itself be a story. It might be that life is exceedingly rare, and we are among the first to awaken in a quiet universe. Or perhaps life is common, but intelligent civilizations are ephemeral. Their voices, brief candles in the dark, flickering out before they can meet one another. There is also the possibility that a great galactic community exists, but we are like infants who have not yet learned to hear its language or join its chorus. Until we know more, we find ourselves in that silence, writing our own narratives to fill the void. Someday in the far future, it might be our own civilization that becomes a legend in the stars. If humanity spreads to distant worlds and then ages into memory, we too will leave footprints for others to find. Perhaps eons from now, explorers from another species will stumble upon the silent ruins of one of our colonies on a distant planet, a weathered human outpost under a foreign sun, and they will marvel at who we were. Or maybe they will intercept one of our ancient probes still wandering between the stars and hold in their hands the golden record we sent, deciphering our voices from across time. In that way, we could become the old ones in someone else's story. The line between myth and history can blur across the vast reaches of time. Every civilization, even our own, is precious and impermanent. Realizing that one day we too will be the ancients makes us cherish the here and now, even as we dream of the legacy we might leave behind. Lost civilizations or not, the universe carries on. Stars are born and die, galaxies collide and reform. Time flows relentlessly forward. Through it all, the fundamental forces persist, weaving the fabric of cosmic reality. Gravity tugs on every star and planet. Time marches onward everywhere. As we leave behind the realm of speculation about galactic legends, our thoughts turn to these elemental poems of nature, the gentle pull that holds the cosmos together, and the ever-rippling river of time that carries all things. In their steady, patient way, gravity and time create and destroy worlds, and their quiet influence is felt in every story the universe has to tell. Gravity and time are the silent composers of the cosmic symphony. We feel gravity every moment. It's the gentle force holding us close to Earth, the sensation that grounds us. It even orchestrates our ocean tides. The moon's pull causes the seas to rise and fall like the steady breath of the planet. On a cosmic scale, gravity is the architect of worlds. It gathered the dust and gas that formed our Earth, sculpted the swirling arms of our galaxy, and choreographs the orbits of stars and planets. Time, in turn, is the ever-present rhythm to which all change dances. It transforms nebulae into stars, stars into giants, and giants into clouds of new elements. Time erodes mountains and unfurls new continents, turns seedlings into forests, and galaxies into new shapes. Together, gravity and time weave the backdrop of everything we experience, from the falling of an apple to the majestic collision of galaxies across the eons. There is poetry in the way Einstein described gravity, not as a mysterious pull from afar, but as the bending of space and time themselves. Picture space-time as a soft, elastic fabric. A star or planet rests on it like a weight on a mattress, causing the fabric to dip. A smaller object passing by slides into that dip, circling around and around, not because it is pulled by an invisible string, but because it follows the curve space itself has taken. This realization casts gravity as the gentle curvature of the universe, guiding planets and comets along their paths, as if leading them by the hand. It's a silent, invisible artistry that underlies the movements of the heavens. It can even bend light itself. Distant galaxies and quasars appear distorted or duplicated by the gravity of clusters in front of them, as if the universe provides its own enormous lenses through which we glimpse faraway wonders. Time and gravity are intimately connected in this cosmic dance. Under the influence of strong gravity, time itself slows down. It's a subtle effect in everyday life. but near something as massive as a black hole, the difference becomes profound. Imagine an intrepid explorer approaching a black hole's boundary. To the explorer, time feels normal. Their heart beats, seconds tick by. But to a distant observer watching from safety, that explorer appears to move ever more slowly. Their clock would seem to languish, their motions creeping as if in molasses. From afar, it would look like the explorer never quite crosses the threshold, frozen in time at the edge of darkness. Such is the strangeness of extreme gravity. It warps not just space but the flow of time, turning moments near a black hole into near eternity. An astronaut living on the International Space Station ages just a tiny bit less quickly than those on Earth, because she is moving fast and is slightly farther from Earth's gravity. Over a year, the difference is only milliseconds, but it's real. Time is not absolute. It can stretch and shrink. If one of our star mariners were to fly at near light speed to a distant star and return, they might find upon coming home that many years have passed on Earth, while they experienced only a fraction of that time. In this way, journeys among the stars could also become journeys into the future, with gravity and speed as the guides. To grasp the strangeness of time dilation, picture two twins back on Earth. If one twin boarded a near light-speed ship and ventured among the stars, while the other stayed home, their experiences of time would diverge. The travelling twin might feel only a few years pass on her journey, but when she returns to Earth, she could find that decades or centuries have passed for her sibling. In effect, the travelling twin would have leapt into her sibling's future. Such thought experiments remind us how flexible time can be, not an absolute march, but a flowing river that can be slowed under the right conditions. They also comfort us in a way, showing that even if we venture far, the ties of family and home endure across time and space, waiting for the day we reunite. Gravity shapes time, and time in turn allows gravity's story to unfold. Over eons, gravity pulls together drifting clouds in space to ignite new suns. Over billions of years, it causes galaxies to swirl together and sometimes even merge in slow-motion collisions, each taking millions of lifetimes to complete. And while we humans experience time on the scale of heartbeats and days, the universe experiences it on a scale almost beyond comprehension. Yet here we are, small and time-bound, able to perceive these truths. We can envision the ancient past and distant future, stitching together the story of the cosmos from its faint signals. There is something comforting in knowing that even as everything changes, some patterns endure. Apples will always fall toward the ground, planets will circle stars, and mornings will follow nights. Contemplating gravity and time grants us a profound perspective. Through these lenses, we begin to grasp the vast scales and forces at play. It humbles us and also opens our minds. There is one more frontier our thoughts drift to now, beyond the bounds of our own Milky Way, out into the greater ocean of galaxies. Before we conclude our journey, we let our imaginations sail outward one final time to witness the majestic expanse of the universe at its grandest scale. Far beyond our own stellar neighborhood, beyond the spiral arms of the Milky Way, lies an almost unfathomable expanse filled with other galaxies. Each galaxy is an island of billions of stars, and there are more of them than we can count, scattered through the cosmic sea. Our ship of thought now ventures outward in imagination, leaving the Milky Way behind. We gaze back and see our galaxy as a faint, glowing disk, just one of many jewels in a vast, dark sky. As we travel further, the galaxies around us appear like distant lanterns, clustered in groups and chains, separated by immense voids where nearly nothing shines. It is a silent, breathtaking panorama, a multitude of galaxies glowing softly like cities at night on an infinite ocean shore. We pass the great spiral of Andromeda, our nearest galactic neighbour, a whirl of stars and dust so enormous it takes light over 2 million years to cross it. In its bright core, countless suns huddle together, and in its sweeping arms, new stars are being born amid pink nebula. Andromeda and the Milky Way dance slowly toward each other, destined in some far future to merge in a grand cosmic embrace. But for now, they sail through space as separate ships passing in the night. We marvel at Andromeda's tranquil beauty as we drift by, aware that we are witnessing a fellow galaxy that is as alive with wonders as our own. Further out, we encounter galaxies of all shapes and sizes. Some are elegant spirals, like our Milky Way, their arms twirling gracefully. Others are giant elliptical galaxies, immense glowing orbs of stars that have no distinct features, like cosmic cities that have aged into smooth serenity. There are small dwarf galaxies, tiny villages of stars in the darkness, each containing just a few million suns. Some galaxies collide and interact, their shapes distorted by gravitational tides. These are cosmic dances that last eons, where stars rarely crash directly, but the galaxy's forms merge and change as if in slow-motion choreography. Watching such interactions, we sense the long, slow heartbeat of the universe, measured in tens of millions of years. Occasionally, we drift past colossal clusters of galaxies, where hundreds of galaxies are bound together by gravity, swarming like a glittering hive. In the center of some clusters, hot gas glows faintly between galaxies. We sense that we are truly in the deep waters of the cosmos now. Everywhere we look, galaxies pepper the darkness, each separated by millions of light years. Yet on the grandest scale, they form a delicate cosmic web, filaments and walls of galaxies surrounding vast empty voids. The structure is both intricate and vast beyond comprehension, a lacework of light spanning hundreds of millions of light years, a tapestry woven by gravity over billions of years. Not all of the cosmos's wonders are visible to our eyes. As we gaze at galaxies and clusters, we realize that much of their mass is hidden in an invisible form. Scientists call this unseen mass dark matter. It neither shines nor casts a shadow. It is transparent, like a ghost flowing through space. Yet its gravity betrays it. Dark matter wraps around galaxies like an unseen halo, holding them together and guiding their rotations. Our ship drifts through this intangible substance without a sound or trace, as if moving through a silent fog that only responds to gravity's pull. Though we cannot see it, we feel its subtle influence everywhere, a gentle presence that binds the cosmic web together. There is another mystery, even more ethereal. The universe is expanding, and that expansion is quietly speeding up, driven by something we call dark energy. We cannot see or touch this energy. We only know it by its effect on the galaxies, pushing them apart faster and faster over time. It's as if the fabric of space itself is growing, carrying galaxies with it, like leaves on a slowly diverging stream. We float in this current without sensation, unaware of the grand drift. Dark energy is the softest whisper in the universe, an outward breath that prevents the cosmos from ever staying still. It ensures that even in stillness, there is a faint, persistent motion, carrying everything forward into the unknown. Far beyond even these clusters, at the edge of the observable universe, tiny smudges of light reveal galaxies from the dawn of time. Their glow has travelled for billions of years to reach us, showing the cosmos as it was when it was young. In those faint, ancient glimmers, we witness a kind of cosmic sunrise, the first generation of stars lighting up after the universe's long, dark ages. To see such distant, early light is to peer into the childhood of the universe itself. It is humbling and wondrous, a reminder that our journey through space is also a journey through time on the grandest scale. And beyond even the farthest galaxies lies a faint presence that fills the universe in every direction. It is not starlight, but a soft whisper of heat, the afterglow of the universe's own birth. This cosmic microwave background, as scientists call it, is the gentle remnant of the time when the first light broke free, billions of years ago. Though invisible to our eyes, it surrounds us always, a quiet echo of the Big Bang. We drift in this subtle warmth without noticing, like a child cradled in ancient light. Even in the deepest darkness of space, this primal glow endures, a reminder that the cosmos remembers its dawn. From this far-out perspective, we now gently turn our attention back toward our own galaxy, to our star, and finally, to the little blue planet we call home. Amidst all these galaxies and endless space, that small world is where our journey began, and where life, as we know it, thrives. The thought of it brings warmth and meaning. We begin our return in spirit, carrying with us the profound calm and insight gained from roaming so far. With hearts full of wonder, we prepare to reflect on what it means to be a part of this universe, to live on that pale blue dot floating in the great darkness. We are ready now to complete our journey, bringing the cosmic perspective home to our very souls. From this lofty vantage among the stars, we look back toward our tiny home, that pale blue dot, nestled in darkness, holds everyone and everything we have ever known. All our joys and struggles, all our history and love exist in that fragile glimmer. Seeing Earth from out here, all boundaries fade away. There are no borders visible, no divisions, only a single world with a delicate glow, our island of life in the vast cosmic sea. In the grand silence of space, we realize how precious our home is, and how precious each living being on that small world truly is. Astronauts who have gazed down on Earth from orbit often speak of an overwhelming sense of unity and tenderness for our world. We feel that now, as if all the love and struggles on that pale dot merge into one shining whole. In the vast cosmic arena, that tiny blue dot is all we have, a world of life cradled by the void, immeasurably precious in its fragility and uniqueness. We feel a gentle humility and gratitude. The universe is ancient and enormous beyond measure, and we are but a brief flicker. Yet, at the same time, we are deeply connected to it. The iron in our blood was forged in the heart of a star that died long before Earth was born. The calcium in our bones, the oxygen we breathe, the water we drink, all were brewed in cosmic cauldrons and scattered across the galaxy. We truly are children of the stars, composed of celestial remnants given new form. Knowing this makes the cosmos feel like home, rather than an empty expanse. We belong here, in this story of endless creation. As we float in our ship, or lie under the night sky on Earth, we sense that connection. The photons hitting our eyes on a clear night have travelled years, centuries, millennia to reach us. When we stargaze, we are communing with the past, catching starlight that left its source long before we were born. In that way, time and space fold into a single experience of wonder. We recall that for as long as humans have existed, we've looked up in awe, drawing constellations, watching comets, and wishing on shooting stars, telling stories about the lights above. Now here we are, actually among those stars, our curiosity carrying us outward, yet our sense of wonder remains ever the same. We might be tiny, but we are receptive and aware, the universe beholding itself with conscious eyes. This realization soothes us. Even in our smallness, we are participants in something vast and magnificent. Our journey through space and imagination has shown us that mystery and beauty are all around. We visited distant suns and newborn planets in our mind's eye. We sailed on starlight and listened for voices in the dark. We contemplated ancient beings and fundamental forces, and even wandered among distant galaxies. Through it all, a calm voice of the cosmos seemed to whisper, "You are part of this. You are not separate from the wonder you seek." Let that knowledge settle over you gently, like stardust falling on a quiet world. In this peaceful moment, you can feel both the immensity of the universe and the warmth of your place within it. Now, as the stars outside our window burn with steady light, we allow ourselves to rest. The spaceship hums softly, or if we are on Earth, the night is deep and still. We carry a piece of the universe within us into our dreams. The cosmos cradles us, and we can surrender to the gentle night, knowing that we are home wherever we lie under the stars. Our voyage, for now, comes to a close, not with an end, but with an open-hearted calm. In the silence, in the darkness speckled with distant suns, we drift into a peaceful sleep, embraced by the stellar dreams that have guided us and comforted us on this journey. Sleep gently under the endless sky until a new dawn softly arrives.